Hello, everybody, and welcome to another scene for Kingdom of Apples Time Marches On. Today's scene starts promptly after the court held in the freehold of the county. Things have wrapped up, citizens have left, and the residual nobles that may have something to discuss with one another are sort of making their own way out. The city council itself has sort of decided it's time to depart as well, uh, with these various individuals going their own direction for their own reasons. And we start with the scene on William Black, who has been given permission to ask questions, and it is known that people like of Brooklyn's Commoner Council will be um, within Manhattan. So, William, what are you doing?
William is just immediately going to call Misha and be like, "We got things to do." And he will say that he's going to be at the cemetery. He will drive a car. His resources, so he can have two cars, I hope. One bad one, one motorcycle.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like driving his car to go there and waiting for Misha to arrive. He's quite stressed, let's say it that way.
This is the New York Marble Cemetery, and I'll go ahead and describe it for uh, what Misha will see if as long as she's going there directly. Do you have anything else you wanted Misha to do, Christy?
It depends if he told me more about the situation.
He texted you before.
Here.
He texted you before. I have written in the Discord.
Oh, is that what you're posting? Because I haven't even looked over there.
Yeah, I post a lot of things about this information there. Not today. In the past.
No. That's fine. I just mean, did you tell her about the changeling there?
Yeah.
Okay. Then yeah, the only thing that she wouldn't be doing is heading to her workshop and collecting a vast amount of tools and things. She's not quite sure what William wants, but she knows what she wants to do.
Okay.
So she's picking up some chimerical tools. Some are mundane. I can write up a whole list if you really want, but we can probably just assume she collected up basically a pretty interesting toolkit.
Okay.
Aside from the normal stuff that she always has in her pockets,
I mean, she does a lot of stuff with found stuff on the beach as well, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Either that or she goes searching for it herself in the water. That works too. But no, she's a jeweler. Plus, she's the crafty one who does all kinds of stuff with whatever she can wiggle together. So yeah.
Well, that just gives me a kind of general idea of what kind of tools would be within reason for her to have. So beach combing tools include things like shovels and rakes and stuff like that. Maybe a metal detector, that sort of thing.
Well, she's not bringing a metal detector at this point. She's been warned about cold iron, if what I was hearing before was correct, and she doesn't know how to handle that. But
I think there might be some misunderstanding, but that's because he had a botched roll. So
that could be fair too.
I'll do my best to clarify what's going on.
For the characters. She knows then.
Yeah.
So what she thinks would be the cold iron idea. So that's why she'd bring some mundane tools as well, like maybe a small saw, a hammer, because she's not sure what would work against it. I don't think she would have that knowledge, but she's bringing, mundane and she also has jewelry making tools, which would include things like screwdrivers. I'm sure you've made some sort of jewelry in the past. Do you know the kind of stuff, the little
I have
pliers and stuff like that. Yeah, I do too. And so clippers, the things so you can cut thick wires and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I get it. Like I'm saying, I just you don't have to go through the whole list.
Cool.
When it comes to okay, she does found item stuff, so she should reasonably these things are things that she would own. I'm not if it's something really fucking weird, which I don't think you would.
No.
Yeah,
unless it's on my list. It could be on my list. You never know. If it's on the list that she keeps in her backpack, then that might be weird. But yeah, go on. We're good.
Okay. Arriving at New York Marble Cemetery, what Misha sees is it's a secular cemetery within Manhattan. And the place is surrounded by a wrought iron fence. Wrought iron is the current modern nomenclature for cold iron. It's not forged with heat specifically. And so there is that radiating discomfort as the place is approached. There's a gate, and it's evening, so it's darker outside, but it's not night, so it's not pitch black. And this is what you're right. So it's still open. The gates are still open. Nobody's really there at this time. Generally, people, like, unless they're of a very certain subculture, tend not to like hanging out in those places. But there's rows of headstones. It's the one that's currently being filled, as opposed to the historic one, which is the New York City Marble Cemetery. They're both in Manhattan, but this is the one where people still actively get buried. Cold iron bars surround the area. And William, where are you waiting for Misha?
The right, like bit away from where the cold iron, in a car.
Mhm.
He has like a photograph machine. He's like taking photos of individuals who enters and leaves.
Mostly mortals for the most part. Generally, cemeteries don't have personnel that like walk the grounds all day long. There's usually somebody at like an office satellite, like a few streets away, where I'll be there in a few minutes sort of thing. So with the exception of the occasional human mourner coming in with like flowers to put on a grave or something like that, it's really been nothing of.
I'm really sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I thought cemetery was like a church. I just
no, you're thinking funeral. This is a secular cemetery. Graveyard and cemetery are the same. You're thinking, I think, a funeral home.
Yeah, like I thought this. I'm a dumbass. William is immediately gonna get out the second he sees Misha, and like he probably brought a shovel. Like, I really apologize. This was me not understanding what's going on.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying. I think they're like that's why I'm trying to clarify it and stuff. There's no problem. I understand that like sometimes like things might get lost in translation. As long as they eventually get understood, we're good.
When you couldn't find anybody in a cemetery, and when it's pointed out in a cemetery, it's obvious what happened to that person.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he will enter and like I will roll. I will not say what I think it is because I know already what I know already. So, but no, he will wait for Misha first and then go in.
Yeah.
Maybe there is like a freehold. He thinks there's a freehold, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So yeah, Well, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say he said he was gonna wait for Misha and then immediately go in. So she's like basically walking up and he's like bolts off and she's like, "What are you doing?"
No, he's
That's
not
why I'm
walking
confused.
off. He's not. He's waiting for you.
Okay. Right, so give me more information. Like she comes over and she's carrying not just her regular backpack, but like she has like what looks like a toolkit.
I have a new band member. I sent her here to ask questions. Basically to get ready to the meeting that we were going to have today.
You sent her to this place with that fence?
No. I sent her to Manhattan to meet an old friend of mine.
Oh, okay. Well, Manhattan's a little better than this particular bit of Manhattan.
And basically, she didn't arrive. She didn't come back. It's been 2 days now. And literally, it's killing me to have her imagine inside. Like, I think maybe there's a freehold inside that they're keeping her.
So how did you track her here? If you sent her just
Suits
to
Suits. I don't have it. Someone else have it. I paid someone to track it down.
okay, I'm just trying to. I just want to understand how we are where we are.
Look, like you can't. The suicide doesn't work inside of Misha. Inside is terrifying. You will get nauseated immediately. So I don't want to waste time. I don't know what's going on. If you find a freehold, just jump in. You will jump in. Stay behind me. I have everything to deal with anybody ready at my arsenal right now. Okay?
Are you sure? I mean, I had to defend you last time. She's kind of giving him a little bit of a grin.
And he says, like, I don't have time for this type of thing. Let's go in. Okay?
Yeah,
As-
that's fine. She is gonna fumble about in her backpack. I finally found her list of stuff here, and she's going to pull out. She has 1 dose of Hall's paralyzing poison
Mhm.
that's in there. She's going to pull that out, and just like it's still like stop it or whatever it is, but it's in her hand now. Kind of. I'm assuming it's pretty small, so it's probably just hidden in her hand.
As you pass through the iron gates, you feel that overwhelming pressure. There's it's never truly comfortable being in the gray world for the Cathane because there's always that ambient banality, that little nagging voice in the back of your head, quiet as it might be, that asks if you're crazy and all of this is just you being delusional. For a majority of Cathane, they're able to sort of ignore that voice because the world of glamour has that very tangible feel to it that like pure madness would not. And passing through these bars, there's that oppressive feeling. And William has already warned Misha, but feeling it is very different from the warning. As you pass through and you feel that chill, that it's almost akin to like emotionally it's almost akin to depression, that sort of like heavy mentality that separates you from your joy and your sense of self, as the cold iron makes that fey soul that's in you feel suppressed. Almost you can still see each other's fey mane, but looking at it makes you have that those thoughts. Is this reality? it's it's that leads to the feeling of nausea and discomfort as your sense of reality that you've been embracing for years now starts becoming something questionable. There are
Yeah.
rows of headstones. Go ahead. What was that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were done. I wasn't gonna break in. I was
Okay.
just gonna say that her reaction is like she walks through and there's like a visible flinch.
Mhm.
She very visibly sort of flinches because obviously that sucks, and she just kind of tries to take a calming breath, which probably doesn't help, but maybe made her feel a little better in her head. And then she just trying to kind of tries to push through it all.
Mhm. There are rows and rows of headstones, divided up um, in some places by more familial plots. So there's definitely places where the grass has grown over the the place where people are buried, and they've been gone for a long time. There are also several places where the dirt is clearly somebody has been buried recently. There's more than one of course, because it is a public cemetery and it's a secular cemetery, which means nobody's being kept out because they didn't pay church dues or something. Which is likely why William couldn't just say, that's the only mound of fresh dirt when he walked in. Roll me perception alertness, both of you at diff 6. It was higher before because one set of eyes while being uncomfortable, but you're helping each other, so we're bringing it down to standard diff.
Okay.
And willpower is allowed.
Sorry, I'm trying to get back up to even see what her scores are. Perception and you said alertness?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I love that the trolls can't botch this shit.
Sorry, I'm trying to find the dice rollers here.
That's okay.
A while.
I put the little dice icon on the front of them, and that's sort of like,
Yes,
like the
it did
bigger,
help.
yeah, the bigger a channel gets, I've noticed that the harder it is to find things quickly.
Okay, so what do I do? What do I? Is it the slash? Just slash whatever d10? I can't
No.
remember.
It's like a very there's a strange system, so you need to put a slash and then choose dice.
Oh, okay, right. I see it there. Thank you. I remember
Yeah.
now.
And then you put your pool and then your difficulty.
So the pool would be 5. Difficulty 6. And that's it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, press enter.
I just want to make sure that was all of it. I got 3.
Awesome. How much more did William get? I missed
4.
it if you said 4. Okay, good.
Yep.
So as you guys are sort of like going through the rows, looking at the various places where like she could be, especially because he has an idea now of what's likely happened, because there's no buildings and there's certainly not anything that indicates that there's a trod in the area, especially with the banality being as oppressive as it is.
Mhm.
So you start looking at these new graves, and for most of them, these are people that died within the past week. You know, they're so that it makes sense. You see either a little stand, because a headstone hasn't been put in place, or you see a headstone, but like, and the dirt is there, but like the dates haven't finally been carved in. So there's like indications that these are new graves with dead people in them. The one that stands out has it says Trey Scottison as the name, and the date of birth is in the 1970s, early 1970s, and the death was in the late 80s. And there, in this old, like it's a well-maintained headstone, so you almost didn't notice again, but it's a fresh grave for a 20-something-year-old corpse. 40-something-year-old. God, I forget how old I am.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I fell right in that same sort of rage.
I was like, it's 20. It's not.
William
I'm 20. It's cool.
William looks at Misha and like he has like a very grim face when he goes near to this like place where they may have buried this woman. So he tries to like use the shovel.
Misha, I want you to roll me a I guess kind of a wits awareness sort of thing.
Okay.
Diff, do
Is
you
it
have common
daytime?
sense? Actually, oh, what I was gonna say is, do you have common sense?
Why would you ever ask me that question?
I've gotten into it habitually just to avoid rules for like common sense thoughts.
The girl has no common sense. Let's be honest here.
Is it like? Are there like guards around here?
That's what I was
No,
asking. I wanted to know if it
no,
was
no, no.
daytime. Is it daytime?
It's dusk,
Okay.
but like the whole thing is like clearly like in spite of the upset, I want you guys to be aware that like civilians digging up graves is like gonna draw somebody's
know that's-
attention. Yeah,
That was the
so
main reason why I was kind of like, and she's gonna kind of like put a hand on his arm, which is obviously much low, like probably like his lower arm, really based on heights,
mhm.
and just be like, wait, we might want to wait till they close.
um
But if then it's gonna be an issue because we'll be
Yes,
stuck
it's been
inside
2
here.
days.
No,
you've
I
got
mean, it's
spring,
not-
right?
Yes, a lot of spring, really.
She's gotten up to fairy ring, right?
She's mastered. She's
Okay.
mastered spring. Spring is her mastery one.
Just the friendly reminder that spring 4 hides the people that are inside the circle.
Would they still notice what we're doing with the
Mm-mm.
bits of dirt flying everywhere?
No.
Okay, because I'm like, that would be kind of awkward. Oh my god, what are they doing? It's unburying itself. Zombies. Okay.
It basically makes people not see the area.
Okay.
Is how I run it.
That's fair. She'll just be like, you need to just hold on, okay? We probably don't want to be here at night because of that. As she kind of, points at the the fence. But give me 1 second, okay?
He nods, but like he's impatient, so he's like tapping his foot to the ground.
She's going to do her best to not focus on that because that would just make her mad at this point. So I'm trying to dig out the book. I need the write-up. Because I'm pretty sure you have to use something that is natural to the area, right?
Yep. And for a cemetery, that can be anything.
She's thinking flowers.
Yeah.
She's thinking she's going to take flowers.
Good.
Um.
That works as a component for me.
Okay. Yeah. Well, then, if you have the write-up in front of you, then we can go by that. She will. Are there any flowers on this gravestone?
Not on this one, but plenty in the ones surrounding.
Well, she happens to be fairly sneaky. She's going to attempt to look like she's just walking around, but actually steal some flowers that are on other gravestones.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and allow you to do that without rolling for that. Because the bunk itself will be fairly difficult with the banality in the area. Is she doing anything else besides gathering the flowers for this bunk?
Well, the thing is, that's actually part of it. Does that count as the bunk?
If you use it solely as the bunk, it's a -1. But some people incorporate things like songs, prayers, dances. Yeah, they dance the circle, or they,
Right.
some people add like sacrifice, whatever, that sort of thing.
She's not going to be doing that, but she is going to be sort of, she's not really a dancer. I think you've noticed that by now. But she's actually going to be kind of humming to herself, and sort of thinking, kind of fey-like, sort of. I'm trying to figure out how to explain what I'm thinking here. It's kind of like she's making up a bit of a mental poem to herself. Something like something about flowers, kind of like the that Birds poem, the one about like, what is it, crows or ravens? 1 is for this, 2 is for this. And trying to focus it in on I don't know, the music that is made by his band, because she doesn't know anything about this person other than that they're in the band.
Okay.
So she's going to try to kind of, the words she makes up as she's kind of going along, sort of murmuring to herself.
Okay.
I'm not going to say it's very skilled, but she's trying.
Yeah, that's cool. I will give you a it's going to be I want to say it's going to be a -2 bunk, but like the area banality is at 9 with the iron, which would bring you down to 7. You can use nightmare dice, and I believe the target for this area is going to be, or target for this is Fey, so it would be Spring plus Fey 7,
Okay.
and for each 3 nightmare dice you take, and it's not permanent. You know, it's only you only get a nightmare point if you roll a 10, but you get to lower your difficulty by another 1.
Well, let me see what I've got. Okay, so Spring plus
Faye, because you're protecting
Fey.
your Misha and William and potentially who's buried underneath.
True. I'm just trying to find my. This is what happens when I don't play a character in a while. You forget all their numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm taking forever.
No,
Where
it's
is
fine. It takes a moment to get back into the rhythm of things, and that's what I'm here for.
There we go. Okay, Faye 3. So we're looking at 8 dice. Now I'm not sure where the nightmare dice are on here. So let's see if I can find that.
Well, nightmare will be it's your dice pool for this for this cantrip, and if you do you have any nightmare points from past unleashings or anything like that on your sheet?
That's what I'm looking at. I know I currently have. Yeah.
I was gonna say I think I told everybody that we're starting from scratch, so you shouldn't right now.
That's fine. She does have the 1 imbalance though.
That would have been cleared in that month as well. Just for the sake of like, I don't want to take. You can if you want, but it's really one of those like you can. They're fairly easy to clear.
It's fine.
So, yeah.
Okay, so I'm just trying to find her nightmare dice. That would be super lovely. There it is,
Well,
nightmare dice. I mean, I'm sure I don't have any, but like, so
yeah.
what can I?
What the process is? Okay.
I don't
Hello.
remember
Yeah. What's your dice pool for this? What's your
8?
Fey? You got 8. Okay, so you can take. Let's see. You can take up to 6 as nightmare dice for this roll, which would bring it down 2 more points, which would make it a diff 5 roll.
I think I'm just going to do 3.
Okay, then yeah, so it'd be there's a way of doing nightmare dice. I don't know what the fuck it is right now.
I think you just have to know which ones they are.
Oh, so yeah, the last 3 or the first 3.
So I'll just say the last 3 in this case.
I'm just saying like the dice roller itself actually has accommodations for nightmare dice. I don't remember at the time. But yeah, we'll go with the first 3 as nightmare so you don't have to schlep through the programming at the moment.
Fair enough. Because I don't want to have to figure that out right now. Yeah, so it's going to be then 11 dice, right?
No. It's you're rolling your dice as nightmare dice. So it's 8 dice, but the first 3, if you get a 10 on any of the first 3, you gain a point of nightmare. But you're basically forcing the banality down by the way I see it is when you're invoking or you're using nightmare to
I got a nightmare. I also succeeded.
Awesome. How many successes did you get?
3 successes. Okay. And then, well, I'm sorry, no, 4 successes. But then one of them is the 10, so I just earned myself a nightmare die.
Okay, so what happens as Misha completes this, and it's the way I always see the use of nightmare is that you're basically pushing your Fey nature forward. It's a sort of assertion of self, like, no, I am this, and sort of wrestling with that aspect of the dreaming. So even like Misha is a fairly, I don't want to say mundane individual because she is not mundane. It's more like she's a part of the city and a part of like human life. You know, she's not like a lofty noble type character. It's this odd feeling of she is much more sulky for that moment she's casting. And there's a like even within the cold iron bars, there's that awareness of her nature as the magic pulls through her. And with Nightmare, what it is it's kind of urging that Fey madness to increase. That's why it leads to these imbalances and eventually bedlam, because it suppresses the humanity in order to reinforce the Fey aspect. And so for that moment that she's casting, she hears the sound of the ocean rising, and she feels that pull to the sea, and that history of the Selkie, and the history of where that her own skin has been in the past starts to sort of like manifest within her magic. And these flowers take on, not that mortals could see it, but the border that surrounds them, those flowers have a sort of sea anemone,
I know what you
whatever the
mean.
word is. Yeah,
Yeah.
quality to them, where they seem to almost pulse with an unseen current. And you know that that the cantrip has taken effect, and you're within your border of safety.
And she's just gonna like at that point kind of look at William and just gesture towards the grave.
He will start undigging the grave.
It
He will
takes a
activate
while.
Wayfair too. Like I
Okay.
had like the Wayfair thing that I can activate.
Okay.
I have 2 extra actions for 3 turns, which at least festen the, you know.
Okay. You dig, and because of the Wayfair, and because this area, like the area within the fairy ring, has pushed away that nauseating ambient feel of the cold iron. You see, by the way, because of that, what is causing the banality in the area. You can actually kind of see where the wall is, much more than you usually could when these cantrips are cast, because it's actively pushing against that cold iron aura. But as you dig, it's like you can tell how loose the soil is. You hit this wooden coffin, but it's higher than it's not a full 6 feet under it. This is a grave where that's buried on top of somebody else. But you hit the wood, and you're speeding up, so I'm just going to say, like, yeah, you managed to clear the area over the coffin.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
While William is like digging, he will ask Misha, "Do you still have Kronos?"
Should I be a puka or not a puka?
Misha, this is not a fucking time to be jokey situation. You're saving someone from cold iron. Can you at least be serious for like 5 minutes?
Totally not being serious, because I'm clearly not helping you here. Yes, I know some Kronos. Jesus.
Good. Okay. Check the past. Who put the woman here?
Does it feel like magic would be easier in this area right now?
It's going to be down to the standard base diff, so it's going to be 8 instead of 9, because it is pushing back, but it's that pushing back to bring it to that regular.
Oh, that's still better than it was. She'll take it.
Okay.
That's why I was just wondering if it felt like it'd be easier. So he's found this wood coffin. She's gonna be like, I will, but it'll be easier if I can actually have some. Can we at least open the coffin first, please?
What do you mean? Why you need to open it? Like he's still like digging while he's asking this question?
Because what if she was buried alive in there?
Yeah, probably she is.
Well, then let's get her out.
Just
Jesus.
yeah, I am digging as fast as I can. I need you to do it. It's also important.
It is
We won't
important, and I'm
we
going
won't
to
have
do it.
time if she is alive. We will just run off to get her to safety.
No, because I can break off a bit of that coffin easily and take it with me and do it if I must. With that,
Just try it here. If it doesn't work, we will do it later, okay?
I could trust the person who knows the Chronos.
Misha, why you're do what you want. He's like continuing digging.
She's gonna look through the dirt that's been pulled out and see if there's anything in the dirt.
Perception alertness.
Well, I'm gonna say that's a botch.
Uh,
That's a very sad
There's-
little botch, isn't it?
let's see how bad it was. Oh my. um, she as she sifts through the dirt, there's various bric-a-brac she finds. Soda can lids, chewing gum wrappers, cigarette butts. The various little pieces of litter that people leave behind without thinking about it. But other than that, she's not finding like any smoking guns or anything.
Okay. Do any of the say cigarette butts or whatever like that? Do they look somewhat fresh, or do they look pretty old and crappy?
Well, it's been 2 days, so cigarette butts don't really hold up well. So
Yeah, but this was actually the dirt that was buried in the ground.
and
Yeah.
so they're muddy and kind of tattered from the dirt. It's really hard to put an age on any of them. I mean,
Well, then she'll just collect
there's-
them all. Then she'll collect them
Yeah.
all. It's fine. How is there like 3 or 4 maybe?
yeah,
Okay.
different types of cigarette butts.
Okay. She's going to take those. And suddenly she's thinking about the last time she used this lovely particular art, which is never a good thing. Trying to get to there it is, page 201. I think she's like 1 and 2 right now. Isn't that about right? I think. I know. I think it doesn't matter. I know what she needs is an early one. Sorry, I have the actual book open now. All right.
Okay.
So, she's gonna take these cigarette butts, which may or may not have anything whatsoever to do with the situation, and she's going to set them up in like a clock. Just put them in in the main 4 spots, and then she'll see if she can find like a stick or something that she can set up as like the hands of the clock. And she's gonna do that like on top of the gravestone. And she's gonna use that to hopefully try to try to force. She's trying to hopefully focus. She's hoping one of the people did use one of the cigarette butts. One of the people involved were actually smoking as they buried it, since it was in the ground. That's what she's hoping. It may or may not be, but she's got to do something. And she will do that to try to. She knows she probably wants 3 successes here. If we want to see a week back to see who maybe did this. But so she will be. That's going to be her bunk. I know it's nothing too crazy, but it's something.
Okay, just remember your first die is a nightmare die.
Yes.
And it is your Chronos plus prop.
Okay. Ooh, sorry, I just remembered her. She has 5 in prop, I think. Give me 2 seconds. I will know for sure. Come on.
And
Okay,
it'll
fuck
be
yeah.
diff 7 unless you take extra nightmare dice.
No.
Tempt fate.
Not in this scenario, thank you. She'll have other chances to try this again if she needs to, so she's not as worried about it. 7. I did it, I would say. Either way, I have 4 successes here.
It's up to 1 month. She can see
Right.
up to 1 month.
Oh, she got 4 successes?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's a nice roll.
Well, like maybe it made up for the botch.
Well, she doesn't really know which one to focus on. So she's like focusing on these cigarette butts, but I'm gonna paint. You said she put up 4 as this thing. She sees 4 different individuals. She sees like a woman smoking a cigarette. She's got dark brown hair, green eyes, and she's clearly upset over something, but she's not looking at the gravestone. And you know, these are cigarette butts, so like she's seeing like their very short lifespan, like unless you want to go back and see their creation of whatever, but like there's that. One of them has been buried in the ground way longer than or been amongst the dirt. Yeah, it's just basically she sees it basically kind of tossed into like the dirt at some point in time, but there's no.
Okay.
Yeah. Then there's another one. There is a blonde woman with blue eyes, but it's not the right season when you see her. It's because like right now it's closing in on winter in New York, or close the end of summer, if I can fucking remember anything with what's going on with this. Whatever season it is, what you're seeing here is like it's spring. There's fresh green grass, and she she's looking at the gravestone, and she's smoking a cigarette, and she drops it. And the last one, you see what looks to be like the cigarette butt is in a man's mouth, and this is like the season seems right. He's smoking as he's digging up the grave about the halfway point, and you can see that he's got like bags with him, and he's shoveling like about half of that dirt into these garbage bags, and he flicks the cigarette butt into the dirt, and you see the coffin being shoved into the ground and buried with what William is currently digging up. The man is about average height. You didn't see a fey mane. He has like kind of dishwater blonde hair and hazel eyes.
Okay. She's just gonna let him keep digging for a second as she like scrounges up like probably a notepad and like a pencil or something.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to try to draw like, yeah, I'm going to use my craft thing where I can roll my roll drawing or whatever at like difficult 7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And she's going to attempt to do the kind of draw what this guy looks like as best as she can, hoping it doesn't turn out as a stick figure.
See, he's a human.
He's a human. I mean, it's fine that he's a human though, because you never know. She's going to try to draw what he looks like. That's it. So at least we have, so she can show William, because she doesn't have any other way of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to find crafts 3. Okay, and that would be what with it, like you want dex? Do you want something mental? Perception?
Uh,
Wits?
to draw,
That's more
I
in the
mean,
moment.
sorry, I'm just trying to like think of like, yeah, wits works, wits crafts sort of because she's
Okay.
trying to capture a sort of mental image on
A
paper.
fleeting image.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's why she didn't say anything. She's just like, I need to do this now before I forget.
Hmm.
Okay. It's gonna be 6 dice.
Thank you for taking notes on the side there, Amachan.
No problem.
I got 3 successes,
Good.
which is pretty nice
Um,
at Div 7.
yeah, it roughly looks like him. The nose feels a little off, the lips a little thin, but largely it's like that same sort of like level of artistic quality as like a police sketch where it's like ish, but it's not something somebody would hang up, but it's not a bad picture. You can definitely tell like the general gist of what you're looking at.
That's fair. That's what she was trying to do anyway.
Mhm.
So, yeah, she will. It probably took a good 10-15 minutes or something anyway. So, is it possible he might be down far enough now?
It should be. He's digging 3 feet down. He's a troll with ridiculous amounts of strength. He has Wayfarer. I'm not going to make him roll for digging dirt because I don't want to give the opportunity of failure for dirt digging.
But it would be hilarious.
It would just be longer even if you fail. Like, I don't
Yeah.
think this terrain is stopping anytime soon.
Well,
Yeah.
it depends if you botch, then you might actually break something.
Yeah,
With,
then
like,
I will
the
do it with
shovel
my
or
hands.
something. Yeah.
But anyway,
so he
just as he's finishing, then she will hold up this drawing. It's a pencil drawing with at least some sort of limited amount of talent to it. It appears.
Do I recognize this person?
you do not.
Okay,
I think he might be human. At least I didn't see a Femine.
it's fine. We will ask this quote. We will ask this person if anyone has seen this person or not. We have our right to ask questions thanks to Sebastian's foolishness.
I'm also one. You have to tell me about that. But no, let me. I was going to say, not just that, but he might be working for somebody. So tracking him down is good. But
Basically,
if
he
he's a
is
human
obviously
working for them,
somebody.
he's not. Yeah.
We
Anyway,
can just torture
so
the human. It's fine.
by the way, and
There's
she'll
one thing.
describe the
I will
colors of
not-
the hair and stuff. She'll describe that, like right on the side, the color of the hair, the eyes, about how tall he is. You know, like write down the stuff you can't get with a pencil drawing.
What is that bitch's eye color? Well, she has blue or hazel.
She has blue eyes, like icy blue eyes.
Mm-hmm. So William starts to say, "We went to the meeting, Misha, and basically there are 3 things. They're getting the trods in the the dark trods in what was the name of that place? Fucking Bronx. Leon is making Bronx his sword arm, which is basically he needs army because he's afraid of me, and basically the Mariposa is doing Mariposa things. Doesn't matter that much. Nobody gives a shit about. He says the Staten Island still, and Manhattan is forcing their commoners to have auto vassalage and branding them.
Have what now?
Auto vassalage. It's basically your commoners are having an oath to remain loyal to you.
Fuck that.
It's literally just slavery. Sebastian is married to a house ace, and she's a baroness now, and nobody likes her. Mariposa and Leon, but Leon is all about that. Oh, I need to make my queen happy, so I'm not going to make anybody happy by basically you play politics and find me some information. I was just
Wow. So basically, it took him what, a month to lose interest in his true love?
I don't fucking know.
Well, do you remember how sappy they were before?
I don't care. The Leon is basically asking us to bring him evidence so he can go to the MAB, while I just want to murder the Baroness.
Let's not focus on that. Let's get this guy out of here and see what he can tell us. Or I'm
It's
sorry,
a woman.
it's her. She would say her. She would have said her. She knew
Mhm.
that. I just forgot.
So yeah, just letting you know what happened. And Sam is basically returning. He was being a dumbass for a while, but now I think he's becoming a bit active, which
Good.
is good. He even stood up to me, which is unwise, but I welcome it.
I'm proud of them.
And lastly, there's this issue named Dizzy who's talking to people who basically is just too dumb enough to talk to us. They are just afraid for some dumbass reason that they don't come to our freehold. And Dizzy basically gave us the why they're like, what do we need and what they need from us in those situations. In like the people who doesn't talk to us, basically.
Okay, well, I don't need advice from some random person I've never met. And that is a problem for later, clearly.
Yeah, it's just that's why I said like let's just do a feast. I'm getting tired of like people are just being too dumb to not accept us as who we are, and then
Actually, if you think about it though, I mean, we're not afraid of it, obviously, but you do remember what our front door looks like, right?
I don't think it's the front door. It's just people being people.
I mean, honestly, I remember going through it the first time. It was not a pretty place.
Yeah, we can fix the door if it's the problem, but it's according to Dizzy and others, it's not the first door. It's basically people saying like, "Oh, I don't feel comfortable there." Like, what do you want to be? It's
Well,
just
they
people
have to handle
always
their
will
own
find
comfort
for
levels.
yeah, people will always find some weird excuse for
All we can do is offer. We can't make people take. We can control certain amounts of things, and that is, we can control what we do. That's it. That's it.
yeah.
So let's not worry about that just this second. Let's worry about the problem at hand, and let's get your friend somewhere where I can maybe heal her if I need to.
William like hits to the coffin, like with his like shovel.
Mm-hmm.
So he clears the area of the coffin and then he punches the coffin to break it to pull it open.
He opens the coffin and it's not like hard. Like even if he had like hit it and it hadn't splintered, which is why I'm not going to make you. He could have just opened it.
No, I wanted to show his anger, so like he punched it open.
Okay. Yeah, like the wood will break. That it's like a plywood box. It's not like a proper like nice coffin or anything. It's like a burial.
Just gonna tell you one thing though: punching
What?
a plywood is a dumbass idea. Like, don't make me
He can
punch
have
a plywood.
bloody knuckle. He can have
yeah,
bloody
he has a bloody
knuckles.
knuckle. Thanks to you now, I have a bloody knuckle.
Yeah. But yeah, it's not like his strength is what 7, 8, something
5.
stupid. 5.
Still plenty.
Yeah. Well, I thought don't they have more when they have like oaths involved and shit like that?
Okay.
And he has an oath
yeah,
to his citizens.
Yes, I have +2. William's strength was 3, and then he got
Mhm.
+2. It's
Okay.
5 now. He's not a combat master. Everyone thinks he is. He just acts like one, and everyone does what he says.
Anyways,
Not necessarily true. I mean,
From-
his own motley doesn't necessarily always listen to him.
yeah, but he has to maintain a certain level of intimidation for Motley and for Brooklyn. Let's continue, Carol.
as he splinters, breaks this lid. Underneath is his band number, and you said this was the satyr, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you see the satyr. Her mane is still intact. She has a a white line painted on her forehead. Roll me intelligence Greymare, no willpower because it's a passive observance to understand what this line could mean.
Oh dear. Give me a second. I need to see what kind of
I
Grimmer
don't
I've
like
got.
when people doesn't allow me to spend gray man. 5 difficulty.
We're gonna go with difficulty 6 for you.
Out of curiosity, because of William's past as a slave, does this would that give any
No, not for this one.
+3? I have 3 successes.
Okay.
Ooh, I have 1 in Grimmer. I'm impressed. You said intelligence?
Intelligence Greymare.
I'm pretty sure she only has 3 in it. Let me make sure. Yep. You said the diff was 7?
6.
6, okay. Got 2.
Okay. So, as you look at this, this vertical line on her head, you recognize it as a rune, Isa, which is the rune for ice. And so I'm not going to make you roll perception, kenning, Greymare further to understand that she is in stasis.
Yeah, she looks at that and she says, "We need Hall."
He can't turn her back, but I don't think there is a way
Misha
to
can.
keep the stasis.
Misha
It's
has-
pyretics. Pyretics.
No, not just look at read. Actually,
I'm thinking summer.
Actually, read. Go ahead and read Spring 1.
Isn't that the seed?
If you read Spring 1, the very last thing it says in Awaken is 5 successes required to counter the effects of stasis.
Of
my.
18, yes.
Well, she'd definitely rather not do that here.
Yeah.
Like, she'd rather do it in the Freehold where she can get a lower difficulty and no nightmare
Exactly.
dice.
William will take her photo. Like, that
Okay.
mark needs to be
Mhm.
photographed.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically sends this to Leon.
Okay. Is he leaving the dirt uncovered, or is he going to fill the hole before they leave?
He will basically what he will do is he will check the because he punched the thing, he will take a piece of that
Yeah, Misha was going to take a piece of that of the thing too.
The wooden thing that covers her, basically the coffin. He will take a piece of the coffin, he will give it to Misha, he will open the coffin's thing, he will put her get her to somewhere safe, which is basically not the car but in the circle.
Yeah, it should be big enough for him to lay her down outside the hole.
Yeah, and then he will put the coffins he will check inside of the coffin to see if there's anything else, like a note or anything like that.
Perception alertness to see if there's anything left behind in the coffin of interest.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, can I also note on the side of my picture what kind of cigarettes that this guy was smoking?
Pick a brand, Marlboro Reds.
Fine. It's just meant to be part of a description. You want every detail when you do this stuff.
3 successes.
Okay. 3 successes for searching. Inside there's another cigarette butt.
He will get the cigarette. Is it the same? He will give the cigarette to Misha.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I get the gross stuff? She'll take it and shove it in a pocket, or she has plastic bags or something in her backpack. She always has a bunch of junk in there, so either it's going in a pocket or it's going in a plastic bag, along with the 2 pieces of wood that they both grabbed. How do you plan to get out of here without them noticing her?
I will make her invisible.
unfortunately, as skilled as I am, I don't think I'm going to be able to make my circle move.
Misha, I already gave you a response. It's fine. We will just close the thing, and then I will make her
Don't be
invisible,
short
okay?
with me. I'm here and I'm doing good things, okay? I'm sorry you're mad, but I didn't do it.
Misha, I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at you that you talk too much.
I always talk too much.
This is not a good time. As he like closes the, the hole that he created, he closes
Yeah,
it down.
she'll help put, like, once he gets the box in there, she'll help pushing like dirt in there and trying to make it
Mhm.
look, at least like it looked before somewhat. Obviously, it's missing some dirt now.
Mhm.
It doesn't look terribly bad. Like
It's. I mean, it's still like a relatively fresh. It's not missing like. It's dirt. So I'm not going. Unless somebody's like specifically coming for whatever, coming back for her, they're probably not going to notice. Is what I'm going to say.
okay, just because I know that when dirt isn't packed down, it is
Mhm.
fluffier. So that's what I was hoping for. At least until it rains, it shouldn't be a noticeable gap.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Once it's down, William will say your invisible song from Hunter Hayes to activate. What was the name of that? Ooh, Primal 4, which will turn her into like air.
Okay.
Or
and that. What?
actually, can I just teleport her while she's not?
I mean, she's a Fey target, so yeah, you can.
The thing is, like with the
Target her.
flicker. My apologies. I thought you were done.
Go ahead.
With the flicker flash, it says the person decides where she goes, not the
Mhm.
caster.
Yeah. Then no, she's
Mhm.
she's in stasis. She can't make any decisions.
Therefore, like, can I make the decision if she is unable to make the decision?
I don't know. Does it say? Because does it say what happens with like an object if you cast on it?
If used on another living being, the subject determines where she wants to go. This cantrip can't be used on banished others to circuit prison or underwater grottos. If used on an object, the caster determines where the object goes. Like, she is like an object right now. That's why I'm asking.
Okay. Then yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. William will actually, we can't do that. So he will just like teleport her near to the
You can put her in the car. It's the closest area.
That's a good idea. Just put her in the back
You're right.
seat.
I was gonna like say the freehold, but like we can't send her into the freehold. We can't have like grave world to the freehold type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I will just do it to the.
Sounds like a poor choice with all the iron surrounding us too.
Mm-hmm.
It will be a higher difficulty because of that.
Mm-hmm. What's the difficulty?
But he is doing it within the circle.
He's doing it within the circle, but he is like pushing past the iron ambiance.
True.
So it's
Okay.
it's going to be the diff 9 is the base. Sing a song to her is what you said was the bunk.
I need to find a new one because that was for being invisible.
Okay.
It's like my theme of using Harry Potter, flick and swish stuff with Lainey. You're going thematic with all the songs.
He will say, "Hit the road, Jack." He will sing, "Hit the road, Jack."
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and that'll be a -1 to bring it back down to a diff 8. You can use nightmare dice to lower the difficulty further.
I won't, but because of its fey, it's difficulty 7 for me.
Good.
Failed. I spend another glamour. I had 9. It's 8 now, and I will use it again.
Okay. Same bunk.
Same bunk will mean that it will like look bad, so I need to find a new bunk.
Where are you putting her? In the car? This is Misha asking.
Taylor Swift getaway car.
No,
Okay.
Misha actually asked the question. Are you putting her in the car?
I am putting her in the car.
Okay, because if you are, I can just run to the car and get something from the car that will kind of help with the targeting, and
No.
maybe that will help you.
No, it's fine. I will just sing the song. I will be able to hate myself that I sing Taylor Swift, but it's fine.
Okay. Somewhere Charles is smiling.
3 successes.
Okay.
Somewhere Misha's filming.
In 2 turns, 6 seconds, she will be at the car.
Okay. So what do you do now? Are you going straight back to the car, or?
Mm-hmm. After closing the dig hole, he will go back to the car.
Okay.
Misha will too. She's happy to
I
take
mean, he
a
won't just go. He will check around. You know, like
Nope. There
to
doesn't.
see
There's
if
no.
there are like people around who's watching them and shit. That's
So
Okay. I
I
perception
do have one
alertness.
question. I was going to say I have another question too, though. While he's doing that,
awareness.
you said we were sort of able to see where the banality was coming from. What exactly is it coming from?
Cold iron bars surrounding the
It is.
cemetery. Yeah.
So it's the whole thing. So if we can demolish that,
I mean, you'd have to. It'd be vandalism on a large scale. It's a city-owned
I get that.
cemetery.
But
Yeah.
But do you really think that Misha and Hall would have a problem with doing that?
I mean, I don't know, but they would be handling an awful lot of cold iron, and I know that Hall has echoes. So
I'm just saying. Well, we can find ways.
3 successes on perception alertness.
okay. As he's looking around, there's people who pass by, and nobody's like really paying much attention to them. It strikes William that they left her there just to forget about her.
Who is forgetting her?
Whoever put her there just to forget about her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was not a like, we'll come back for her later. It was like throwing some, like, they don't care. They're not watching her. They're not. Yeah. They just discarded her.
My apologies. I had no idea. What are you saying? Like, are you talking about the people
Nobody's
who put her
watching.
there? They just put her there and forget about it. How do I understand this?
No, they didn't
Because
forget. They
nobody's
just want to
watching.
forget.
They're just, nobody's watching. There's nobody waiting for you to come get her. Nobody is paying any attention to this cemetery as like a potential chance for problems. They've taken this citizen of Brooklyn, threw her in a hole, and they don't even care enough about like what potential ramifications there are to put up somebody keeping an eye on the situation.
I think the individual who owns this place may be the one who is,
It's owned by the city.
Serving them. But the she is known with the red tape, where they can put people in places that other commoners are unable to because of how they enter the bodies of rich people. Is like they probably put some people, because I remember like there were some changelings around.
Yeah, because you wanted to ask around the city. I think that might have been part of like the yeah, I thought you were like asking in like nearby businesses and stuff like that. The thing is, every Kithane that lives in Manhattan is under that oath of vassalage now. And that's what William was running
Okay.
into as he was asking people in the area.
William will look at Misha when they're like come near the car and say, it's very strange of them to just not put someone to watch this place. Maybe they want her back. Maybe they want us to find her.
Maybe, but it's a trap that
She
I
may
think
be
we're
a
pretty much going to walk
spy.
into. It's a trap I'm walking into. I'm not going to
Exactly.
leave her in
But
stasis.
there's one thing that I'm just going to say. That a lot of people here are under oath of vassalage, and I need to find that oath and what that oath entails, so we can find a very ways around it.
There's usually something, but it will take work if ever, depending on the wording. So you might want to get a hold of the wording first. The other thing too is, I mean, maybe they just assumed it was safe there because everybody's under this oath.
I
They
don't
probably
think
didn't
they're
count
that
on you having permission to poke around in Manhattan.
specifically here to pick. I mean, this Sebastian who gave us that permission, he and he was like basically pawn of that woman. There's something more fishy going on.
Right. So he probably doesn't know what's going on with that bitch he married.
Why don't we actually bring this to Leon?
Well, let's
But no,
handle
never
her
mind.
first.
He
I
will
think
just look at
she's
us
more
like, oh, you can't
important.
handle your own problems.
Why don't we get her moving? She would be pretty good proof of what's going on if she's remembers everything.
Yeah, let's just check it to make sure that if she has any brands on her.
Well, she's actually going
You do that while I drive the car, okay?
Misha just gives him a look. I mean, she's because she realizes what this means. Wait, a brand? Do they actually have brands on them? Like actual like tattoos or something, or burns?
They have something on them visible. They
It's a mark, some
brand the
sort of marking.
commoners. Yes, let me show you as he like pulls a photo of the marking.
I think it's time to burn them.
Again, what do you mean burn them?
Have you ever seen the show Burn Notice?
No.
You really should. I want to make it as if they never existed.
As in who?
Well, the bitch who I've never met in my life. If they're branding people.
William is like driving the car with one hand, and he is actually like Misha sees like there's two stages of William. William, the cold anger William, and the hot-headed William. Now the hot-headed William is the usual light William that you get when you are just sticking around. He's a like sometimes fun guy to have around, and he is just normally angry at things, and that's how he functions. The anger is just the way he is. You accept him like that. And he becomes less angry when he is, either like flirting with someone where then the calmness is just not his thing. And then there's the cold, angry William, which is William. It's the broody William. And while he's driving the car, he's thinking, and he is mad as much as Misha, obviously, that like he was saying that I sent my friend there and they like basically buried her alive type of look on his face is there. And he is thinking, Misha doesn't realize this, but like this could have been Misha in his mind. So she sees that the cold anger in William. And William says, I had to hold myself not to just simply murder her in that meeting. You and I know each other well in a way that I can just simply murder someone quite easily. I have in that power level now. I don't know her power level, but if she's unexpecting me to not just, blast her with Dragon's Ire, she takes a deep breath and says, I can do a lot of damage with it. And I hold myself, and I have even seen Leon leaving a deep breath when I decided not to end her miserable life there.
We need proof. We need proof. And then once that's done, we can figure out where to go from there. Because the thing is, what if she isn't the one doing this? What if there's somebody even bigger that's doing it? She's just the face.
The issue is that I'm seeing is that they're not dumb. Like when a rebellion type of thing happens, like we did, the response from nobility usually is tightening the collar around commoner's neck usually, but that actually helps us, and they know that. So I think they want us to make a mistake by invading Manhattan or simply breaking the sheet in Manhattan, so they can actually make us look bad.
That's only if
That
they
is
can
my
prove they did
opinion
it.
right now.
They need proof
we
just
don't
as
have
much as
true
we do.
allies, Nisha. No, but they control the government, Nisha. They can just kill us and create those things, create those
So can we.
proofs. While we
What makes you
actually
think?
do need proof.
What makes you think? No, we're just the ones honest enough to do it, to actually get real proof. We can easily make up proof if that's what we want. You are underestimating us.
No, I'm not underestimating anybody. I'm simply stating that they are the government who is, on charge of us, Concordia. There is the nice part and there is the worst part. Now, we met with the nice part, but the nice part is also our enemy. Leon, Mariposa, that guy and Gavidian guy who names we are forgetting all the time. Like, those are also nobles. There is no good nobles. They're nobles. They don't want us to succeed. They just want us to succeed in their way, their vision. They don't want real change. Like, do you really think Mariposa wants a real change? Like a she? Is she? No. So
You do realize that
while they
assuming
don't
that
like
all
this
she are
woman,
identical is maybe just a little bit. As I mean, it's almost like assuming every troll is bad. I'm not trying to defend the she because 99% of them are kind of like awful, and you have to always be questioning everything you think of them because there's always some other motive. I get that,
Misha, we
but
will make an exception when that 1% appears. It doesn't have, I don't see any 1% right now. And I'm not saying let's kill them all. I'm saying let's try to solve problems, but also realize that this issue that we have is not just, let's all be friends type of issue.
who's trying to be
Our
friends?
allies is also our enemies. That is my point.
That really isn't my problem at the moment. Step one, we've got to try to make sure that she's okay, and that's fine. I will be happy to check and make sure there's no markings that are weird aside from the thing on her forehead.
Yeah, go right ahead and do that while I'm driving the car.
Okay.
Just
And while I'm at it,
standard. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say while she's at it, she's also gonna kind of try to see how like if she's hurt or if it's just a stasis. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Okay, for injuries, it would be a perception medicine. For if you're looking for a brand, perception alertness. If you're looking for an oath that she might be under, it's perception kenning. For the
Also-
oath, it'll be diff 7. For the other two, standard diff.
I was gonna say I'm not gonna remember all that, but that's okay. Give me a second. I'll be all right. I'm just trying to find my medicine because I know I should have medicine on her. At least I hope I do. Who knows? Maybe I don't. Oh, I do not have medicine, so I can't really roll that anyways. I suppose I can just sort of. She's gonna look for obvious things at this point because that's apparently all I can do.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
know,
just
if there's
perception
a huge,
alertness.
if there's like a big bump or something, you know,
Mhm.
or cuts, obvious cuts. Okay, so that's. You said alertness. Then we'll throw that in. So
We'll throw in looking for like obvious injuries into while she's looking for the brand, if it exists.
yes. And that was my diff 6, right?
Mm-hmm.
That 3 successes. You can split those however you want.
Okay. She doesn't notice any branding on this woman, nor does she really notice any sort of like massive injuries. There is a sort of like raw spot around her nose and mouth, but Misha doesn't have any context for what that could mean.
She'll just take note of it.
Yeah, but other than that, there doesn't really seem to be a whole lot happening there.
Okay.
There's
Let me roll the
no
other
signs
one.
of perception gray mare diff or perception canning diff 7.
Okay. This is really irritating. I really need to have this on a piece of paper. It was always so much easier that way.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. There's Kenning. Okay. Shouldn't have been worried about it. It's the same freaking dice pool. That was my 7. Okay.
2 successes. Okay. Misha picks up that there is an oath of vassalage, but she does not have any indication of who it is from without that brand there.
Okay.
What did Misha found? Sorry.
That there is that at some point this woman has taken an oath of vassalage. Like that magic of being bound to somebody of a higher authority does exist.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that.
It doesn't. Yeah,
It doesn't mean it was him or them.
Yeah.
But
She doesn't know. It could be. It could not be. I just want to point that out, like before, you hurl her unconscious body out of the car or something.
Well, okay, so she's like breathing normally, right? From what I can tell, at least.
I don't know how stasis works. I don't know if it's like they're breathing and like they're in sleep mode or whatever. It's
Okay.
like,
Well,
yeah, it's fairy sleep.
fair enough. We'll call it. So she'll just look up, and this is pretty much probably after she had to crawl out of the front seat, like into the back seat to do this. But she's small. She managed. Probably didn't kick William more than once. And she's like, okay, well, I don't see any marks other than the one on her forehead, which I'm not going to mess with at this point. I'm going to do that later. She seems healthy enough, although there's something around her lips and her nose, but I'm not sure what that is. Maybe it's a poison or something like Hall. Maybe, or maybe they held up chloroform to her nose. I don't have any idea.
Yeah.
Either way, she seems relatively okay. I don't see any obvious broken bones or bumps or cuts. We need somebody better to look at this than me, though.
Yeah,
And-
William is like pushing buttons at his like car to call Sam.
Well, I mean, I can heal as long as it's nothing too whacked out.
It's fine. We're gonna get a pyretic master as soon as possible, along with a Sam who has soothsay.
There is an oath on her of some sort, but I don't
Yeah, we will
I don't
find.
have any information on what kind of oath, other than it's vassal. It's I don't know the details though.
It's too many fucking marks showing one place, but again, basically we will use soothsay to find who may have forced an oath.
I mean, if I focus on that, I might be able to see what it is, but it depends on how long ago.
Actually, that's also a cool idea, Misha. Go right ahead and do that when we are. But we should do that when we are in the freehold, when we have a lot of
Yes. Yes, we
things.
should.
And I'm calling Sam as he like presses the button to call Sam.
The phone rings maybe twice before Sam picks up. Hello, Sam Kephart speaking. How may I help you?
It's William. Sam, you didn't, Governor, didn't you save my number?
Sorry, I've been up to my ears in paperwork since we got back. There's a lot of stuff has come in. I wasn't looking. How how can I help?
Wait, there's
I,
more stuff. More stuff happened.
I some standard paperwork. I think I've got a handle on this right now, but um, I had to just step out to get a breath of fresh air so I could refocus. Is there something you need?
We found a citizen.
Good, right? Or how are they?
She is fine, but we found her buried alive, in the cemetery. She is
You
in
hear Sam take
stasis.
you hear Sam take like a very deep breath, like
Yeah.
through their
Mhm.
teeth, that sort of like trying to stay calm.
My friend, my governor, I need your skills on soothsay at the Freehold of Free Hair. I kindly request your presence there because they buried her alive and put her in a grave. They didn't make anybody watch the grave, and there was an oath of vassalage on her. I think she will try to murder someone, or She is supposed to be like a secret agent on us, but we need to find this and deal with this problem. Understand the nature of things and who she is owed it to. So I humbly again request your presence in our freehold to get the bottom of this, because I simply don't want any of our citizens to be forced into oaths of vassalages simply they visit another barony.
I understand. Look, I've got some things to finish up. I should be there in an hour.
Okay. I also uh, wish to know if there's anyone who is like good with pyretics.
Um, I'll have to put feelers out. I can't say I know anybody off the top of my head. I we have so many people, and I've never thought to really push people for what they know. It always felt like a privacy issue. A lot of people are very
I,
sensitive about sharing what they know.
it's completely all right. I will send some messages to the channels that I need someone with pyretics in the freehold of free hair, and we will pay for it. Is that okay with you?
If I yeah, I'm okay with it. I do caution that we should probably wait until we know what's going on before you take steps to change it.
I I simply wanted to have someone with pyretics to make sure, if she is under any sovereign to attack you or me, we would have dispelled it. But you're right, I can hold her down.
Good to know that I don't matter.
My governor, Misha, is also here.
Hello, Misha. There's a packet of letters for you from uh, court today. I went ahead and put them on your desk.
Thanks. I will see them once we make sure that this wonderful lady is okay.
Also, my governor, there's also another thing I want to say.
Yes.
You did such a well job today. I was very happy that I have voted for you.
Thank you, William. There's a lot of work that still needs to be done, so hopefully we can get some headway through. I'll give you a briefing once I get to the freehold.
See you there, sir.
And Sam hangs up. I'm not going to put any traffic or anything in your way on your way to the freehold.
Yeah, Misha will
So-
try to secure her, what's her name? She doesn't even know the name, I don't think. She's going to she's going to try to secure her so that she doesn't get jostled around too much. You know, like use some seatbelts and rig it up somehow.
Mhm.
Because she doesn't want her rolling right off the seat.
Yeah. So yeah, it was some finagling. Misha gets her secure, and you're able to get her to the freehold. If you want to do your, I have Sam on the delay right now, so you can go ahead and if there's any casting you want to do prior to that, you can do that if you want to. Or
Yeah,
wait,
because we're not going to undo the stasis until we know a little more. So we're not doing that one. The healing is it probably wouldn't hurt to just do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the only thing. The only thing I'll lose is some glamour, really, and that's not a big deal, too much, really. What else? Oh, we were gonna. I'm trying to figure out how she could focus on the oath itself. How do you focus in on an oath? It's an ephemeral thing.
It would be Fey 5.
Which I don't have, and we're not allowed to pay higher to get up there, are we?
No, I you can only cheat one level more than you have.
Okay, so I wouldn't be able to do that exactly then. I'd have to think outside the box a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have any answers on that, but I could at least make sure she's in decent health.
Okay.
So I guess that's probably what I'm going to do at this point. Because Misha has a thing at this point, she's actually going to go into her room and pull out the rather gross and bloody t-shirt that once held that spray, the fountain of health. Remember the one that we all had?
Mm-hmm.
She still has that. It has blood and wax on it.
Gross.
Very gross. Very gross. But for her it has the feeling of health to it, of spring, for her she's kind of identified with it being connected with that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, she's going to bring the really 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 tacky t-shirt that hasn't been washed, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
And bring it in there and basically put it over her. She's not going to try to put it on her or anything. That's awkward. I'm assuming we're going to place her probably on a bed somewhere. That would make sense.
Probably near the what was the name of that?
The balefire.
Balefire, so she can heal more. And
I mean,
feel
it doesn't.
better.
It wouldn't hurt. So yeah, she's going to attempt to do the physical healing on that, and since with that thing, it usually involves her blood, so she is actually going to pull out her little knife and, like cut her her hand, and then she'll just take she's actually going to take that and put a line just under the white symbol on her forehead, so so the red is there. But it's not actually going to be mixing with the other one. And then she'll put a drop over her heart, all the things that you want to make sure are okay. And it's not a ton of blood, but it is some. And that it should be able to at least get her healed up. So at least that's what we're hoping.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm trying to think if there's any other healingness that I can think of that makes sense here. Probably not. It's already lower diff because she's in the freehold.
Roll it at diff 5.
Okay. Well, I feel like that's a win.
Oh.
Is that like healing or the awakening?
That's her healing.
Uh,
Like basically, I usually have to focus it on something, but I just focused it directly on her in this case because I didn't think about putting it on an object. But
So
yes,
yeah,
she's like
she's healed.
super healed.
Yeah.
She's a very happy camper. She was like,
the raw spot that was on the nose and mouth heals up and without a trace.
Can't you use her as a, Misha, as a target to see when she had the sword? Because Oath is like very hard to reach, but can't you just use her and see her past? Because it's her past after all.
I can, but if it was too long ago, I wouldn't be able to see it.
It doesn't matter. That's what we need to know, actually. She has been missing for 2 days. So
true. If it wasn't in the last 2 days, then you're right. Yeah, that would really be that would be her own personal backstory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fine. I can do that. So yeah, trying to think. I'm just trying to think of time-related things. Our freehold tends to be fairly sunny, right? Like at least it feels sunny. I think so.
I think it's been a long time since I've described the inside of your freehold.
Okay. I don't think we have a dark and grungy, so I think we're okay with that. And as a seal, she certainly likes sunning herself. So, either way, we're inside, so it's fine. What she's gonna do, she's gonna basically grab like some blocks of wood, which I'm sure there's stuff around, something in vaguely in a block shape, and she's gonna attempt to make like a series of what would be sundials, I guess, essentially. Make at least and like start with the smallest one further away and then kind of move it closer to her and it gets bigger. So the idea being, time is, bringing it closer to the present because she's really wanting to see mostly the last 2 days. Well, the last 3 days, really, if she can pull that off. So
roll me Dex Crafts diff 7 and use the number of successes as your bunk modifier as well as the lower diff for the freehold.
Okay, so Dex Crafts, right. So that steady hands would apply here, wouldn't it? Oh, okay. So 4 plus 3, diff 7. I just took my glasses off, so now I'm squinting at my keyboard. Well, we got 1. Oh no, it's a fail. Never mind.
You can roll diff 8 if you want to try again.
Yeah, it will. Do I need to roll it? Would doing glamour do anything here?
No, this is just basically the amount of like how well the concept comes together to form like a bunk. Yeah. So yeah, okay. There's no reason to spill glamour for it.
Willpower can be a thing, but that's okay. I'm fine. I'm not going to bother with that.
Yeah, well, not for a re-roll because it would just be like you can't fail a re-roll or with the thing. Yeah,
William will help her to reduce her difficulty, and he will also say, "Let's just try to find a better bunk, okay? This is important."
I didn't get on you when you missed yours earlier.
Misha.
Does she also happen to have any like jewelry on her or anything like that? Like a ring or a necklace, a bracelet, anything?
I mean, she has a couple of pieces of like just general accessories, little bracelet and
okay, doesn't have to be anything important. That's fine.
William actually is still like looking at Misha when he says like Misha, like he was asking to get her attention.
Well, you had said something, and she thought you were just being snarky back at her when she was like, "I didn't pick
I
on
know.
you."
That's why he says Misha, and he's waiting for her to look at him.
Well, she looks for a second there. She's occupied looking at her jewelry, and she starts pulling off some of the like rings or something. Nothing expensive, and but she's just taking it off at the moment because she doesn't get a say in it really.
He
And
says
finally, after that,
Misha
she'll look.
again.
She'll no. After a second of pulling off a couple of rings, she'll look up and be like, "What, William?"
Not everything is about you, and how insufficient you are. When I make a comment, I also try to help. So let's find a better bunk together
You state the
and solve
obvious.
this.
That's what you did. Can we not argue right now?
No, you are the causing the argument. You keep saying something stupid back to me, and stop it. You are the one who is being snarky.
You're acting like a
not me.
child. Just shut up and let me do the bunk.
Sorry.
And she's gonna take the jewelry and attempt to use it in some way to like, especially the things closer to her, try to personalize it a bit more.
Mhm.
Like if she can get an earring, she'll try to put it through one of the like the dial parts,
Mhm.
and she'll show him what she's doing and be like, if you want to help, by all means, feel free. Find some way to make these a little more decorative, a little more her style.
With the help, I'll bring it down to a standard diff.
Okay. Is it still +1 because it's a retry?
No, standard diff because it's not a retry anymore because you're doing a different approach.
Okay.
So Dex Crafts diff 6.
Okay. What is wrong with me today? Apparently, I'm not artistic.
Now you can re-roll it at diff 7, and it's not a reattempt if you just do the re-roll.
That's literally what I'm going to do. It's fine. Jeez, what is with this today?
Sometimes the
William,
dice are
like me.
dicks.
William will come near the.
Well, one is better than none, I guess.
It's
It's
up
not
to an
enough.
hour.
That's fine. I'm going to go at this point. So
Or
what's...
oh wait, no, it's -1. So that brings it down to
Yeah.
diff 6 for the roll. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay.
5
Sorry, if you're going to do
successes.
something, go for it.
We have 5 successes now.
What was that?
How would
I
we have
said
5?
yeah because it's difficulty 6.
No, it was difficulty 7 because it was a second try.
Heather, not Heather, Carol, have you checked the one, the -1 because you're in a freehold?
This isn't the bunk or the cantrip.
Oh.
This is the bunk modifier.
Yeah.
I'm letting her.
Right.
Yeah. I was
So
trying to give her the opportunity to like build something really beautiful and potentially have a really low difficulty for her cantrip. But
Okay,
like,
now I understand.
I'm guessing
my
like
dice
maybe the
hated
stress
me.
of being, in the midst of bickering with her oathmate might be having some sort of effect on her.
Probably. I mean, let's be honest here. Wouldn't it have an effect on you if you were in that scenario? But anyway, she's trying to keep her focus at this point, and she got one, and she's going to be like, let's do this. And yeah, so see, that would be, it was Kronos and Faye, right?
Mm-hmm. And diff 6.
Yes.
I think you said it's an 8 dice pool. Your first one is nightmare die. And you can use more nightmare die if you want to lower it.
It's not an 8 dice pool, it's a 6 because I have 3 Faye, 3 Kronos.
Oh, that's right. It was the other one that I had 5 for. You were a master.
Yes. Yes. So it's going to be the diff 6. That's pretty, guys. At least I got 2 successes. You see how long that takes me back.
I think it's a day.
Okay, well, she'll take the day, and I mean, she's pretty sure that she's not going to see anything of real interest in a day, but she'll watch it.
She's gonna see a coffin, the inside of a coffin, because she's
a lot of coffin. It's great.
Yeah. It's chimerical, so she doesn't have to spend glamour for that, unless it's weird. So she can make more attempts if you want to keep trying.
She might, but it's also been an hour, so we might as
Yeah.
well let have Sam show up too.
Okay.
So
So
she's going
go
to
ahead.
start removing the jewelry from what she was doing though, and putting it back on her because she was just borrowing it. She didn't break it or anything.
Okay. So yeah, all Misha had seen was just that she'd been in a coffin for a day. There's after an hour, there's some activity as Sam arrives, and Sam comes in carrying a couple of like packets of or for like folders kind of various papers and stuff like that, and they don't look necessarily. Hold on, Daniel. No, that is not. You keep your feet off of that. They don't look stressed necessarily, but they do look focused, like deliberately focused, as they come in with these folders in their arm, and Sam approaches William and Misha. Misha, William, did you want to take me to your friend?
Yes, let's go. William will
And-
bring them to her.
Misha will just say as they're walking, she's physically okay as far as I can tell. I took care of that.
Okay. Can you tell me anything more about them so I can go ahead and know what I'm looking for specifically? Anything you can tell me at all will help.
The woman, her name is Sadie.
Mm-hmm.
She comes from her hatred towards nobility due to her past at House Fiona. It's a love affair went wrong, and she is a lesbian. She punches me a lot, and she plays drum at my band.
She has some sort of oath on her that is vassal of some sort, but we don't know how old it is. I was trying to figure that out, but the dreaming was not with me.
It's a fickle thing sometimes. Don't get in your own head about it. It'll only make things worse. And Sam kind of pats Misha on the shoulder as they start looking over Sadie.
It's more important that she's physically okay at this point anyway, but
Sam
I'm glad that
nods.
worked at least.
What is it exactly that you want to learn about this person, William?
The oath, who caused it, and who put her, into this situation.
Oh, speaking of that, Misha will pull out the drawing she made and be like, "Have you seen this guy before?"
Sam looks at the drawing and gives a good squint and shakes their head. I'm afraid I don't, at least not that's left any lasting impression. I don't think I have with that person.
How about we make a photocopy of that, and then you do the boggin thing.
It's true, you probably know some people.
Sam nods. If you can make a couple of copies of that, I'll see if we can get it around in circles. It might be better if I see if I can get somebody underground, though.
Be careful if they're anywhere near Manhattan. This is the guy who buried her.
Getting me those copies sooner rather than later is probably prudent.
Yes, absolutely.
And Sam sort of like Sam's looking over Sadie and gently picks up their hand and starts sort of like running their finger along the lines of their palm as they talk about, what these various lines mean. As somebody who does not read palms, I know there's like a life line and a love line and a fate line, but fuck if I can tell you which one is which. But Sam starts going into that, and it's like, with this line, we can see that they had a love that will affect them till the day they die, and with this one, we see that they're going to have a difficult journey. And as Sam starts kind of going through what these various lines are, you can start seeing the glamour of this cantrip starting to well up. Do you want me to play with fate and see how good it gets, or do you want me to just wing it? If I wing it, I'll give you about a moderate successful answer. If you want me to chance it, there's always the chance of a higher success or failure.
I think Sam is in this as much as us.
But
So I
what?
think it should be like Sam is in this as much as us, like. So I think it should be up to chance.
Okay. See if I can get this dice roller
To work better than it did for me recently.
need to double check what Boggins. Where?
Worms are just going to be everywhere.
Just trying to find their affinity. Okay, it's actor. Never mind then.
All good and other humans.
Hey, all the more reason to not like House Eason, right?
Yes, that's actually something I was thinking about, because when he told her that she was a member of House Asen, and like that might be the first time she's ever heard that said. So she suddenly like gets this twitch, like,
Mhm.
ooh, I hate them, but she doesn't even know why.
Okay, so Sam's pool, difficulty with the bunk, and the freehold. I'm going to put it at 6.
I will help his bunk.
Okay, what do you want to help with?
I don't know what he does.
All Sam is doing is reading their palm. So I don't know how William helps with it.
William will hold the palm.
Okay, I'll just put it at 5 then, I guess. Oh, I forgot to put the tab, I think. Whatever. 4 successes. Okay. Sam goes still as they look through the weave of fate at this satyrs, and there's a moment where they see, but what they're looking at is not in front of them. Like it says they're looking through destiny and this individual's past. Daniel, shh. And Sam's voice speaks softer, and you almost have to lean in to hear them. The oath of vassalage is to their former lover of House Fiona. And it's why things went so wrong. That sort of power dynamic between somebody with power and somebody with none doesn't work in the long run.
Thanks.
Let's act like we don't know this. Then she awakens.
Sam nods.
Agreed. She's gonna wait for Sam to like come out of like whatever trance it is or whatever that they're in.
Well, the talking was as they came out of it, and they gently put the satyrist's hands down. And I mean, Sam doesn't have pyretics for purging these sorts of things, anyways. But Sam looks to them before, like, if they don't say something immediately, Sam goes to get their folders to bring them over.
I think I can waken her. We just want to make sure it was safe before we did.
No, I think we should see with Kronos what happened to her the last 2 days.
I dare you to play this level. Don't talk so loud. I dare you to play this level.
Goblins, you're both contributing to the noise. Okay. Did you just are you going with Kronos again, or?
Yeah, William looks at Misha and says, I think
Shh. Danny.
let's bring her to the sand, we're near the sea, and make a clock in the sand, and then take the clock, 2 days back by basically, moving the like we're gonna make a clock out of sand. It's gonna take a lot of time to turn 2 days back. We're gonna do it, use the lines of the clock again and again and again and again to show that we're gonna probably go to 48 times. You understand what I mean?
I mean, we can do that, and she'll look at Sam and be like, is what you were going to bring up more important than this? Because this is going to take a while.
Sorry, I was having issues turning my mic back on. Sam holds the folders. It can wait until you've resolved this. If you need to take care of things, this isn't going to be resolved in a night.
Carol, if you're busy,
I'm not.
close-
It's just my house they're being noisy and Sean's not helping.
Okay, if we can close it if you want. That's what I'm
No,
saying.
it's fine. Hold on just a second.
Mhm.
Okay, go ahead, guys. Sam says it'll wait. It can wait.
All right. Do you want to help with this one? Because it's going to be a pretty big clock. Or do you need to get going? I understand that too. You are very important.
Were you waiting on me for something? I thought you were talking to William.
No, she
Oh.
was talking to Sam, asking
okay.
if Sam wanted to help us, or if they need to get going to do other much more important things, since they are so important, really.
I mean, yeah, I can help with the clock if you need an assist. I'm not quite sure what. You'll have to tell me what you want me to do. Our clocks aren't really my forte.
Governor, I think we got this.
Okay.
It's I learned from the best.
The-
Although this is his idea.
Count Leon know about this as well. That we found her in stasis. He will send him the copy of the photo or the drawing of Misha as well.
Oh, I'll make some copies once we finish with this.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. I'll be needing to send a packet to Legion soon.
That's fine. I'll handle this as soon as I can manage it. And like her mind is already wandering as she's kind of like she just looks at William, and because she's assuming he's gonna carry her down.
Yeah, he will.
So she's gonna just immediately head down to the water, which is like her favorite part of this place anyway. Like she takes naps in the sand down by the the opening to the the ocean dreaming. And yeah, she goes down there and she's just gonna she's gonna try to put more of herself into this. And she's going to cut her hand again. And use that hand in particular as she's hand digging out the shape of this clock.
So to explain this, let's say it's 2 currently, right? Like 2 o'clock, 2 p.m. Like they will draw show 2, and then they will close the sand and then put at 1. Like draw it on the sand like it's 1 o'clock, and then again they will close it and then pull and then pull it to 12. Basically, one by one they're like pulling it 2 days before, and when the situation is all started, they're pulling to the hour of William telling her, "Yeah, I need you to do this."
Well, Misha's gonna actually hold up her knife and be like hold out her hand that's now covered in sand and blood,
Mhm.
and she's gonna like look at him, she's trying to ask him basically, can I
Yeah.
do this? Because the more
Mhm.
and so she will actually cut his hand very carefully. She's not trying to hurt him. I guess not a deep, huge cut, but it's gonna bleed.
Yeah, he's giving his blood because he sees this person as a friend as well, or at least a band member. That's someone he under his responsibility. So it doesn't matter. He can get 2 damage on this. I have a fucking freehold. I will seal.
Okay, well you have to make a deeper cut than Misha's willing to make at that point then.
Mhm.
But she will offer you the knife if you ask her. So
Diff 4 for the roll.
suppose that's me. It's his idea, but we're both doing it. So diff 4, and it's Kronos Faye. I can't. What is the lowest diff? Are we still sticking with the old rule of lowest we can go is 3?
Yeah, I think that's in the book as well. And
Is it?
any lower than that, it's ridiculous. So diff 3
That's fine.
is my cap.
Then she will she'll actually do the nightmare dice again, because we might actually get to see a face of someone who was involved with this whole thing, besides the person who buried him. So yeah. She'll take on 3 more nightmare dice, which means total of 4 nightmare dice at the moment. Out of the
okay, so
Yeah.
diff 3 then, and the first 4 will be nightmare.
Yes. If I go crazy on this one, it's all your fault, William. There we go. I needed at least 5 successes. I got 6. And 6.
And I think that's 1 more nightmare dice as well.
2 actually. There's 2 10s there.
Oh, are they within the pool? I thought it was just the first 4 that are.
They're both. I have 10, 10, 9, 8, 6, 5 is what. Oh wait a minute. No, I didn't look at the top one. You're right. It is 1.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's because the last 3 were normal dice.
Fair enough. I was looking at the other part, the thing underneath where it says 10.
Yeah,
but
because it
it
puts them in
reorders
order.
it there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Misha gets to see the last year of this individual's life, and what Misha sees is actually all the way up to her making. A couple of days prior, it's not like an exact thing. This isn't the anniversary of her making that oath, but like that's the first notable incident is that she sees her like making this oath with this beautiful Fiona woman, and she sees this relationship, and it's very passionate and very intimate. But the woman, she has sort of commitment issues with the satyrs, and satyrs themselves aren't particularly like they aren't like massive advocates for monogamy over anything else, but the fact that like she doesn't feel the need to inform her that there are other lovers, and like it becomes this thing where it's she doesn't feel the need to inform her of her other lovers, not just because you know I'm a Fiona and you should expect it, but because she says I do not have to answer to my vassals for my personal decisions. And you see that bitterness start to form as she's just basically like this relationship starts turning sour. And there is a huge argument, and she doesn't become an oath breaker. There's not an oath that's broken between the two of them. But just a second, I need to yell at somebody real quick. Okay. So she sees that relationship get bitter, and there's a huge fight between them. And before that fight can be resolved or even addressed or brought to the point where she could become an oath breaker, the city that Sadie came from comes under attack. And Misha watches through her eyes in horror as every freehold in Virginia falls to Thelaine attacks. They are brutal. The slaughter of the nobles within is complete, including this woman's former lover. And people start like commoners are flee the state. And Sadie's amongst a group of them that decides to come to Brooklyn specifically because of past issues that they had with nobility. They feel like this might be their best opportunity for a start at a new life, or at least survival amongst other individuals who want to not find themselves in situations like that. For Sadie, it can. I mean, it's reasonable to assume it's because of the emotional damage done from this individual that she loved and was subsequently sort of gaslit and abused because of their power differential. But all of those freeholds falling has not reached the gossip. Misha, nobody in New York has been this is something that they definitely should be talking about. This huge area being attacked. The fact that there are no freeholds remaining at all in a state. And just this brutal murder, massacre that has occurred. No word has reached them. They don't know, as far, or at least no gossip has reached, no official news has reached Manhattan or Brooklyn or Queens, because somebody would have said something about it in theory if it had reached a commoner.
Right.
From there, she sees Sadie's arrival in Brooklyn and meeting William and enjoying band practice, and yeah, smacking him sometimes for being kind of an ass. And when William asks her to go scope out Manhattan, she doesn't mind. She doesn't think anything. She doesn't seem nervous about it. And you see that she goes into Manhattan, and she tries to go to a Cauldron House, but she finds that the doors are locked, and there's not like somebody watching and saying like go away or anything like that. Just like the doors are locked, and like knocking on it, nobody's answering. And so they decide to just kind of go to places where commoners tend to congregate, and things seem normal enough. But with the context of knowing that these people are under the oath of vassalage, what happens as Sadie starts asking is people start getting really uncomfortable and dodging the question or trying to re-navigate. They're not talking about anything that's going on in Manhattan. And it's sort of becoming frustrated, and you can hear the tone in Sadie's voice as she's like, well, something's got to be bothering me about this place. You can just tell me. I just like, what would you like to see changed? Isn't this something you want? Like, don't you wish you had more of a say as a person? Like, just you can tell me. But they're not revealing anything. They're actually like tugging their sleeves over their wrists so that like their oath marks aren't even showing at this point. They're like actively trying to hide them as they like kind of shy away from the question. And this is the same sort of energy that William was running into. This the very uncomfortable. I can't talk about this. It's not my place to complain. That sort of thing. And Sadie goes, finally, they grow frustrated after about an hour of questioning people without any sort of response, and they don't see that they were being followed. But as Misha watching what's happening to Sadie, Misha can see somebody was following her. They had been listening in to her asking these questions. And it's that same individual who buried her. As he slams a cloth of chloroform over her mouth, and she struggles and blacks out. And then Misha sees as again, this individual doesn't have a Fey mane as far as she can see, but she watches as he paints the rune on her forehead and puts her in stasis. And from there, he buries her. He's lighting a cigarette. He's smoking. He's like just sort of like whistling to himself as he does this. He doesn't seem particularly emotionally concerned or struggling with the moral implications of his actions. And he buries Sadie alive. He drags the bags of dirt out of the cemetery, and then
throws a cigarette and it's done.
Yeah, he just kind of flicks a cigarette. There's not any sort of like it's not a pointed thing. He's not like putting it out on her or anything like that. It's like he finishes and just throws it in the coffin, like the coffin is a trash can, and buries her. And then it's just like that darkness until Misha sees herself and William recovering the body.
Yeah, at that point she'll attempt to cut it off because it's awkward looking at yourself looking down on you.
Mm-hmm.
This one's hiding secrets.
This one? What?
Secrets. There are secrets. Really
Who?
big secrets. She kind of blinks and points at the girl they were, with the person they were trying to turn back time on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's anything that would hurt us specifically, but I don't understand why they weren't saying something. Okay. In answer to the question,
Probably
you
a
wanted to
henchman
know
or something.
henchman? You think she is?
No, I don't think she's a henchman. Whoever just put her there is a henchman.
Maybe, but they did it by themselves. It was the same person that I have the drawing of. He did all of it. He followed her. She was asking a lot of questions. Even the Cauldron House door was closed. Like, it was locked.
Yeah, there's some issues with the Cauldron House in Manhattan, it seems. Yeah, the Cauldron House is an issue in Manhattan for some reason. It's something else we need to research.
Let's call Charles.
You do that.
And yeah, I don't have his number. Well, I have his old number. It might still work. Who knows? But anyway,
I, to be
the
honest, like, I
point
don't give a
being,
shit about Cauldron Houses. I think they're like just.
it's not the Cauldron House that's the issue here. It's the fact that the
Yeah,
hospitality house here, the even they're having trouble dealing with Manhattan.
they're
Like,
not the house of hospitality. Hospitality is not something where you put rules to push
well,
to make them, fail. That's not what hospitality is.
well, your definition of hospitality and theirs may
At
be
least in my
totally
opinion.
different.
But yeah, you're
That
right.
isn't the point. That isn't the point here. The point is they're having issues and they're trying to be open for everybody, in theory. So if they're having an issue, then it's an issue that probably has something to do with us, but it's not our immediate problem. It's just a sign of the bigger issue here. Because, yeah, it was the same person. Followed her, probably noticed her because she was asking a lot of questions. I don't know how I guessed it right, but it actually was chloroform. What the
Mhm.
heck? And yeah, he knocked her
Okay.
out. Did the magic on her, but unless he's like one of those human wizards or something. Because I know a couple. I haven't seen him in a while, but I know a couple, and they can do
People
stuff.
can close their
But
famines with chicanery. People can close their famines with magic. Or they are simply too human. It happens.
well, he was able to do magic.
I have seen
Is
someone
my
who I
point.
can't see with your name. Okay, I'm
He was
telling you
able to do
again.
magic.
Changelings can close their famines with chicanery, and they can also make sure, or they can just be too human. Okay, those things are fine. He was able to do magic. We will find him. He will use soothsay on him and find him.
Either way, he did it, and he literally just felt like this was part of the day.
It's completely okay. We have a two puka where we can have them ask questions. When we find him, or we can just, make him have an uncomfortable day. Can you guys hear me?
I heard you. I didn't
Okay.
quite catch all of it. I
Yeah.
was responding to something over there. What did you say? I'm sorry.
He was saying that we will find a guy.
Right, but we still have no idea who his boss is or if he's the boss.
I mean, we will learn those things when we find him. We have 2 Puka.
Well,
Paul
there's
and,
one other.
Amber. They can ask him questions.
Yeah, they can. If the only other thing I should mention, and it's definitely personal, but it's also bigger than her, and I don't know why she wasn't saying anything. According to what she saw, what she knows, at least what I saw through her eyes, and of course this is, I suppose, unless someone's messed with her mind and she doesn't even remember it. The state of Virginia has fallen to the Thalane. That's what she was running from. I feel like William's the one not listening now.
No, William listens. I just didn't respond yet. He simply
Well, she's-
says, people are fucking weird, really. They are just not telling us anything, and it's pissing me off. And people just ask Leon, and he will probably hide things as well, but guess what? Virginia is.
It's not technically our problem, but it could easily become our problem. It's only 2 states away. And it's part of, this overall kingdom. This isn't
To be
something
honest,
we
I
can
think it
ignore.
helps us in the long run anyway. It's
To
cool.
lose an
in my
entire
opinion,
state
this
to the
actually helps
Thalane?
us. No, it helps to create unhappiness among the the population.
I'm beginning to wonder if I don't know you anymore. It's one thing for you to look at something and go, hey, that's, didn't take a spin on it. Like, oh, well, that's actually a good thing. Well, no. How many freeholds fell? How many changelings died? That's not going to ever be okay.
They have been dying for a long time, Misha.
We've all been dying for a long time. That doesn't. I'm not the most generous person, and you know that. I get that. I want to be safe, and yes, that's probably my first priority. But at the same time, the fact that they're able to keep that secret, how does that not bother you? An entire state gone, and nobody
Now,
has heard anything.
it's not bothering me because, firstly, I have bigger fish to fry, and secondly, I am simply disappointed in people that they kept this to themselves. They think that this is it shows how ignorant this she is, Sadie
Or-
is,
Or she
and how
had
ignorant
some
our
sort of.
people is.
I'm just saying, she might have had. There might be reasons why they're keeping it quiet.
It's
It's
because
not
they don't want
necessarily
any
like
fucking it's because they don't want panic. Because when people panic, sad, and then they start asking questions. They don't want panic because they don't want their iron fist to look weak.
Aren't we?
The people asking questions will make them look weak, so they just don't want it.
Actually, we could use it to our advantage.
That's
We're
exactly
supposed.
what I said.
No. I think it's a bad thing. You just immediately said, oh, well, that's actually good. No, it's not good. But we can be the ones who come out with this news, which will make the commoners at least realize that we're on their side by informing them of important things.
I think we should inform Sam about this first.
Agreed.
But I'm kind of happy that like we can actually just have this bomb explode in Leon's hands. It would make me happy.
Well, you know, Sam, if we tell Sam, Sam's going to tell Leon because that's their duty. And there's a chance Leon knows.
I mean, yeah,
A really
then I
good
will just
chance
tell
Leon
someone
knows.
else. Leon already fucking knows. He knows. There's no. It's not a chance.
So
he
does
knows.
Mariposa.
He's a
I'm
count.
willing to bet you Mariposa does too. She's well connected.
You see what I you see what I mean now when I say us and them.
I always knew what you meant, William.
Good to know. If you want, you can awake her now. We'll see. I'll be right back. I will just go to the toilet and come back.
Yeah, well, I guess Misha's still thinking, like, she's trying to. I'm just going to say this even though John's not here because he left without me having the chance to, but she's going to say maybe we shouldn't tell her that we found out that information.
Mm.
And, yeah. Just kind of not bring that up and just ask her what happened, that sort of thing.
Okay.
So at least if he tries to do that, we can mention afterwards that I did tell him that, and he can change it maybe.
Okay.
Okay, so if I would have to think of something, I need a really freaking big thing here. Because I need 5 successes.
Mm-hmm.
It's spring, and it's on Fae, so that at least gives me 8 dice.
What are Selkie's? What's their realm?
Nature,
Bummer.
which is not helpful most of the time. It's not actor, unfortunately. Not actor. I mean, sorry, it's not Fae, which would have been lovely, but no. I don't know why they gave me the most useless one.
I'm back.
Misha did say that she doesn't think that they should actually tell her what we've gotten from her past. At least not at this moment.
William will just
because
say,
we need
I
to figure out
think-
what we're going to do with it.
I think we should actually tell her that, like, why she didn't tell us why she came from Virginia. We can say we found out what happened in Virginia from a rumor mill.
You can do that, but just don't ask
will.
her. I mean, don't say that you got it from her.
No, I won't.
Okay.
I will play this now. Don't worry. I will reload because I think I have a lag.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. We need a bunk. Spring bunk. We're in the sand,
Mm-hmm.
and basically what it is, it's planting a seed of waking up, essentially, right?
Mm-hmm. Or well, awaken. It's basically
Yeah.
she's basically trying to stir her awake in spite of the stasis that's been placed on her.
Yes. So I'm wondering if we have any. Okay, so she's actually going to go collect up some I'm sure she has seeds and things around. She's gonna some sort of seeds that she can like literally plant around this girl, and then she's also gonna come back with a bunch of ice cubes that were probably in a refrigerator somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to hold them over each of these seeds and hold it until it melts into each one of these little seeds that she's planted.
Okay.
So the idea being, the ice melting and something growing. You get the idea?
Do me a favor, roll perception alertness, diff 7. because there's a specific kind of seed I think would work best for this for Misha. So if I
Sure,
you
yeah.
do that, yeah,
Is
trying to
a-
find what the name is for it.
You said 6? Div 6?
Yeah. No, I said there's 7 because
Okay,
what she's
7.
looking for are they're called sea beans.
Well, I have 2.
Excellent. So starting out with that, and then you said melting ice cubes, so that'll be another component of it, which brings it down another 1.
And it does take a little time for ice to melt when you have an ice cube in your hand that you're just standing there holding.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely a slow, methodical bunk. So I think that brings it down to like I want to say 5. I'm gonna post in your blue book what the thing that Misha would have been looking for is.
Is this something that's a stimulant?
No, it's just thematic to her as a Selkie, I guess.
Okay. No, that's
And
cool.
it's a seed, so a Selkie doing spring magic would likely use Selkie appropriate materials.
I'm sure she would.
Yeah.
And you can't
Plus-
plant fish, so
And a lot of people use this thing for jewelry as well, so she is probably familiar with it already.
well, there you go then. Okay.
Yep. Okay. So that was 2 successes and a long-term bunk. We'll go ahead and bring it down to a diff 4.
Okay. Oh, please work for me this time, dice. I really hate you sometimes. See? What the hell? I had such a great bunk, too. Had 1 success.
Damn.
So, yeah, well, one, at least it's, I mean, it would plant some kind of a something. Maybe it's a start. I don't know. I don't know if these add up or not. But she would try again. I mean, she's not going to just leave her sleeping forever,
Yeah, no. I mean, the event it would wear off eventually, anyways. It's
It's up to you if I can stack. It doesn't say anything about it in the book, but it also barely mentions it. So,
okay. I mean,
if it doesn't
you can
stack, then I can just go for 5 again.
if you want to see how strong the stasis is, you can. I mean, there's and then you can decide if you want to just let it wait out or try again.
She'd rather
So
get it. Yeah, to her it doesn't really matter. Like if how strong it is, she wants to wake her up now.
Okay, then she can attempt again. There would be I mean, if she's just trying to add to that bunk, it's not going to add much, but it does take a lot of like very exhausting bunks to keep doing the cantrip unless you want to start tapping into nightmare and.
Yeah,
I'm just
will
trying to
throw that
save
on
it.
too. I will throw that on too. No, because I'm at 2. I could end up with a 3rd. That's fine.
Okay.
Whatever. At this point, she wants it. She wants this to work. So yeah, she'll
Okay.
do that.
Okay.
Probably diff 5 then.
Yeah.
Okay, and it will be 2, 3. Great.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yes.
And with that like frustration mounting and that deep desire for her to just to wake up and for her Misha to show her that she is this useful individual, perhaps any of those things. Once more, like that magic pushes upwards, and she feels less that street kid and more this ancient creature that she's connected to the history and the lineage of every person who has worn that skin before, and she feels that sort of growing in her with those nightmare dice accumulating. What she's feeling is more of that sulkiness starting to kind of like assert itself. She is not just a street girl. She is, she is more. And yes, every Cathay knows that they're different, but it's sort of cracking against the her that resonates at all with like mortal behavior. She that urge to just walk off and take a dive in the sea, just it's tugging at her. The urge to just fall into those old legends, break someone's heart. It's fine. They just don't understand the need to go and leave sometimes. And that's what pulls as the cantrip pushes through her. The feeling ebbs once she has completed the cantrip, but for that moment, as she's tapping into growth and life and change and what spring in the sea is, for a moment, Misha feels a part of something bigger, and it has nothing to do with the politics of Brooklyn. And she sees that magic surge through and push away the ice. Like, it's like watching an ice floe melt, as the magic that was keeping her asleep fades away, and she sees that blush of warmth rising back in Sadie's cheeks, and she kind of groans and rubs at her mouth, but she realizes that it doesn't hurt, and her eyes flutter open, and she seems confused as to why she's on the beach.
Misha at that point is pretty much dropped to the ground because it was kind of overwhelming there for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And she's, I guess, essentially standing. Well, she was standing over her. Now she's sitting on the ground next to her.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll be like, "You're probably going to want to wash your forehead."
And Sadie,
Easy, William says to Sadie.
Sadie brings her hand up to her forehead and wipes and looks as the white paint smears onto the back of her hand.
And blood. There's also blood from when Misha healed her.
And she feels that there's no like injury on her, so she's confused by that. She just, what happened? I was in Manhattan. I know I went to Manhattan.
You went
You're
to
Sadie,
Manhattan,
right?
Sadie. And
I think somebody fucking jumped me.
yes, someone did, Sadie.
And
Can you
she'll
guys
hold
hear
up
me?
the picture. Actually, no, she's not going to hold up the picture. She's not going to do that because there's no point.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay. I was just talking. Nobody talked back to me, so.
Oh,
No, we responded at least once or twice.
William was saying, I have a lag. God damn it.
It's okay. It happens.
I'm just gonna open, restart my thingy and be right back.
okay.
Yeah, she's just gonna look at her and be like, the blood's not yours.
She seems briefly relieved and then briefly more concerned.
Misha will hold up her hand because I'm sure it's healed by now, but well, not healed fully, but like, actually considering the strength of that heal thing she got on her, she's emanating healing right
Yeah,
now.
that's what I was
So
gonna
actually, it's
say.
probably healed.
Like,
Well, I'm sure there's still some blood on her hand though. So she'll
yeah, there's
hold up her
probably,
hand.
yeah, there's likely like dried blood, but like with the level of healing coming off of her from that cantrip,
Gone.
it was probably like Misha probably had to cut open her hand several times just to dig in the sand,
Fair enough.
like for it to be.
Yeah. Yeah, and she holds up her hand and she's like, I wasn't sure how badly you were hurt, so I healed you.
Thanks. I owe you a solid.
No, well, maybe, but we'll talk about that another time. She sort of offers kind of a cheeky grin more than anything else, because she's only half serious. But you never know when you might need a favor.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll offer her other hand and say, "Amisha."
Sadie, I play drums with this guy. She gestures to William, and we're still waiting for Amachon, so I don't want to like push too hard with.
Of course,
him
and she'll
loading.
be like, yeah, he's in my motley, or rather, he would think that I'm in his motley.
Oh Lord.
She'll be like, you're in the freehold of the free hair.
Cool. Groovy.
You guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Whew.
We were just doing a little bit of introduction between the two of us while you were busy.
Yeah. So she knows this is Misha, and she's in the motley, and that she's currently in the freehold.
Someone jumped you.
Yeah, I didn't see him, but somebody jumped me.
They buried you alive and then we saved you.
It was
That's fucked
chloroform.
up.
Yeah, he chloroformed you.
So,
Or something in a cloth that he shoved over your face.
listen, if you want to stay, you can stay here. I don't think any of us will give you shit for
No,
staying
absolutely
here.
not.
You're in my band anyway, and we're looking for people to. Never mind that last sentence, but you can stay here if you want. But I highly recommend not going to Manhattan for a while. It's not a safe place anymore.
Yeah, man. Whatever you say.
Lastly, have you haven't found anything important, right? Like the older people are just weirded. They were weird.
Yeah, they were real fucking weird. Like they weren't. I was trying. I went and like I went to go talk at the Cauldron House, because usually like there's at least somebody there who wants to complain about something or another because they have to go there for healing but the doors were fucking locked. And then I went to a bar, and every time I tried to talk to somebody, they were sitting there acting fucking shady. I don't know what the hell's going on there, but it's weird.
It is weird. There's one question I want to ask though.
Yeah, man, what?
You told me you came from outside, right?
Yeah.
Have you heard what happened in Virginia?
And you see this sort of like her face. Hold on, my kids are being very loud. Guys, knock it off. I can't read lips, Anthony. You know this. Her face kind of goes very still for a moment as like she begins to shake and tears form in her eyes, and like she opens her mouth to speak, and all that comes out are like almost animalistic noises as like her throat sounds like it's trying to close up around the words. And she looks and and everything comes out choked. And she's like trying to speak, and nothing comes out.
Do you have an oath?
And she starts like there's the strangled, but now like the sound does start to come up. I did. I don't think she's alive anymore.
I don't know who are you talking about, but are you like under any order to not share this with public?
Sovereign, maybe?
There's this like slow pause, and she just shakes her head and mouths, I don't know why I can't talk about it.
Well, I think it's fairly obvious that she has clearly had her voice box cut out, and that is why she cannot speak. It's definitely not magic. As she kind of looks at at William.
Can I sense anything on her?
You can do a perception grammar diff 8.
I will spend a willpower.
Misha's gonna, I'm sure there's usually some sort of fresh water or something. If she's gonna grab like a bottle of water, which I'm sure there's something like that. She might have even had one on her. She's gonna grab it and hand it to her.
4 successes.
4 successes. There is something that sort of like is magically present around her, and it's very hard to pick up because it's not a magic that William is intimately familiar with, and
I really apologize for cutting you off, but William is intimately close with Sovereign due to his past. Okay.
It's not from a cantrip, but it is like magic of the dreaming.
Mm-hmm.
So it sort of resonates as like, have you ever been to another country?
Shockingly, yes.
And like eaten something that there's like no one for one, like you've never had something comparable in your home country.
I get the idea of it.
Okay. It's kind of like that. It's like, this is food. It's just not something I'm familiar with because it's from
Indian
something
food is like that for
else.
me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's that. It's like, this is Fey magic. I have not seen this Fey magic though.
Okay.
It is not in use by anybody I've ever had interactions with.
Yeah, she handed her the water because it sounded like the sounds coming out would have hurt.
Yeah, and so she sips, and like there's tears that continue to stream down her face, as like, because she can see it in her mind, and it's clear that it is like trauma because it was bad, and Misha saw it, and I'm not going to say Misha gets PTSD from witnessing it like secondhand, but imagining like actually experiencing it doesn't even take an empathy roll to realize like there is some serious emotional fuckery going on for this woman.
I would like to formally invite you, not just you can stay if you want, but I'd like to invite you to stay here for a couple of days at least so you can rest, relax.
You know the rules. I told you the rules before. But listen, if there are people that you know from Virginia who arrive with you or without you, they're safe and welcomed here. I know there are rumors outside that like we are some sort of weirdos, but they are really welcome here.
Oh, we are weirdos.
But we're nice weirdos. Let's just say it that way. You don't owe us anything, by the way, for this. Like, don't think you owe us anything. At least me. I can't talk for Misha, but I don't think she will claim that you owe her anything as well. I did this because of your friends and bandmates, okay? And I would do for this for any of my friends.
I did it because nobody deserves to be just taken and kept amongst cold iron.
Cold iron. She takes
Yeah,
a
they-
drink of water.
They put you in a cemetery where there was a cold iron.
A fence. It was a fence. You
Yeah.
weren't like impaled on it or anything.
Fuck. And she seems like genuinely concerned by that. That's really fucked up.
I'm glad you can't remember it. It's really for the best. I'm sure you have enough bad memories.
And she just nods and is there like a bed somewhere, or do I just kind of find a place to curl up? I mean, either
No.
works, but
This
There's
place is far
bears.
too big for just us. Far too
Yeah.
big for just us. Yeah.
It's big as Taranar, actually, William says.
Just not nearly as fancy.
Yeah. Again,
There's
it's a
beds.
place for commoners to be commoners.
And safety, we hope.
Yeah.
For commoners. Especially commoners, but technically anyone, I suppose, as long as they don't try pulling their rank on us here.
wicked. Cool. If you don't mind, I gotta.
Yeah,
sh-
come with me.
cool.
Come on.
Cool.
Come on.
Cool.
Let me take you, and I'll see if I can scramble up some kind of clothes for you to change into if you want.
No, that's the normal one.
Yeah, thanks, dude. And Sadie follows, and Sam's still like kind of waiting patiently in the freehold to speak with them.
Oh yeah.
So-
Well, if that's the case, she would have been like, "Oh, by the way, Sam's upstairs, so they might ask you something."
The little one?
Hmm?
The little one? Like they gesture to about Sam's height.
Which is about the same height as me. This is the kid. Yeah, she's the one that's 5 feet tall. She just kind of shrugs and she's like, "Yeah, that's about their height. You know, the governor."
Yeah. Nice kid.
help-
Little bit tender for the job.
They helped you too.
Make sure to tell them thanks.
You're like a man.
Well, I would, but you can do so because we're gonna have to pass them on the way up. You don't have to sleep in the sand unless you want to. It's very comfy.
Nah, it sticks in the fur. She says this like she dusts the sand out of her satyr goat hair.
Misha just kind of looks at her and she's like, "Actually, it gets delightfully under the fur, and it like it just makes everything like it's like constantly having someone be able to scratch your back. It's
That
amazing."
sounds no, thanks. Anyway, so Sam's there with like the folders. Like we're gonna fast forward past the pros and cons of sand in the fur, as I feel I am not equipped to have a debate on it.
But I feel that Sadie and I could.
Maybe. And
William
I'll even
comes
say-
near Sam.
mhm. And Sam is like poring back over these documents and looks up, and you see Sam sort of bracing themselves. We need to talk about what's going on. Lejeune sent over this message.
Just now?
No, he had a talk with. Well, there was me, whatever the fuck the SLUA that's in charge of Staten Island is called, Sebastian, Cassiolus, and Mariposa. We were in the room and I'm supposed to talk with all of you, and I'll have to catch up with the others.
Is it about
But-
Virginia?
Well, it's Virginia fell about almost a month ago. You better sit down.
Actually, and she's gonna kind of look at Sadie and be like, "But do you wanna? If you want me to, I'll take you over to, your room."
Yeah, thanks, man. That'd be great.
Misha will disappear. We'll just say it's quickly, and she comes right back.
And okay, go ahead.
No, I was just saying she wasn't sure if all the business of Brooklyn should be in front of non-government people.
It's a good call. Yes, she just needs like to rest, so she's not going to be like, oh, I want to stay in here. She's got a headache.
I'm sure she does.
But Sam will wait for Misha, and once you you're both there, they slide the like the folder of in front of William and Misha, and it's like attempts at communication, and there's some from Virginia of just like pleas for help, like please, this is something we've never seen before, and like there's so many calls for help. Some of them are clearly like copies of things that have been made in one way or another and not the original things, but there are things that were sent to Legion as well. And on the other side of the folder, or in the other folder rather, there's missives from Maine. And Sam takes a deep breath. These just started coming in this morning, but it's already fallen. These came in yesterday. They weren't able to reach us. Something didn't let their calls for help reach us. And they fell. Maine has fallen to the lane.
There's got to be something bigger behind the scenes that's controlling it. They are far too organized for what Thelaine are, from what I understand.
Sam nods. Lejeune wanted to talk with those of us in charge first because the communication has been choked. They don't understand why it's not coming until it's too late. They don't understand why they know that some of the people that have come are from there, but none of them have come forward to us.
Yes, they are unable to share.
They can't.
I didn't know that.
Well, we just found out
Oh,
about
see.
a minute ago.
I'm trying to see states of America on a map.
Basically, we're right between Virginia and Maine. Like, there's a couple of states either way, but it's clearly we're somewhere in the middle of that area.
Mhm.
Maine is at the top on the far right, and
So-
Virginia's down the east coast, like a couple states down or so, right? From New
well,
York.
no, it's at the very tip, I believe.
Well, Maine is.
Yeah,
Are we
talking
in
about
Virginia's
Virginia?
on the
Virginia.
other side. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
You-
we're in between the two. But there's still like a little bit of wiggle room because there's a bunch of other smaller states between Maine and here, but that doesn't mean they won't choose us next. Who knows?
Mhm.
But either way, Misha's just gonna be like, I was finally able to see what had happened, and I saw a lot more than I really intended. And
What you
she
hear?
terrifying. It's terrifying. And she's scared. And William didn't tell her that I had seen it. And I would ask that you keep that to yourself as well for her privacy's sake. But of course, I'll tell anybody in charge what I've seen, because there's no need to put these people through more by trying to torture it out of them or something ridiculous, which should never happen anyways, obviously, but you know what I mean. The sounds that were
Yeah.
coming out of her throat when the subject was brought up, they weren't human. She was trying to talk and she couldn't.
It's very concerning information. And Sam's like, there's like clear distress, but there's a sort of like, you can tell Sam's trying to kind of like keep their shit together instead of falling apart.
I will be happily answer any questions about what I saw, though. But I'd prefer not to bring her into this.
Now, Sam, we have 50 guards, and there's 2 strongholds in Brooklyn, in New York.
Mhm.
One of this is the stronghold that you're in. Another is in Bronx. So you are at the safest place that you can be, okay? This is the biggest freehold in the OOC. Is there a bigger freehold in size in New York?
Well,
We have
New
s-
York State.
The
yes,
state. The state,
yeah.
yes.
I mean, there's Taranar in state.
Yeah, I mean the size and the grandeur of Taranar is much bigger because it's
Yes.
fucking Taranar.
There's
No,
always
we're
Goblin
big
Town.
as Tar-
Goblin
we're-
Town?
I mean, we are big as Taranar because Taranar is also size 5, according
Yeah,
to the
but, like,
book.
yeah.
But we
no,
don't have dragons
seriously.
protecting this shitty fucking
No, we
place, but
don't.
yeah.
But there's also Goblin Town.
But yeah, I
which is
mean, yeah,
probably
there's
close in size.
It's not a stronghold, though.
no.
No.
But like Sam gives William a look, and it's not fear, but rather just William, your courage and faith in your people is it's remarkable. But there were probably strongholds in Virginia and Maine as well.
William takes a deep breath and says, "The war brings opportunities. We will be prepared for the war. But also, I need you to understand that you're not just thinking about the people, you're also you need to think about the future, in my opinion. And it's my counsel to you that you use the fact that we have a stronghold here. Manhattan, Staten Island, and Bronx. They will get hit before we do. Do you know why?
Because we're on the coast.
Exactly.
But it really depends how they travel. If they're traveling inland, which I guess makes sense that they're probably mostly a bunch of land folks.
You have a master of warfare standing in front of you.
Sam
will-
puts up their hand and like shuffles through some of the letters and pulls out one that is covered in blood. And there's not a lot of information in these. This is why I don't think freeholds are going to be our salvation this time. And Sam hands it over and it says, they've come through the Trods.
So we need search parties, very quiet search parties. Brave, quiet search parties. I don't know if we can necessarily smash them, but we can at least try to mitigate this as much as possible. You've got to think big, but
We've got to
small
think
at the
bigger
same
than a
time.
meat grinder.
Yes,
It's not going to be a matter of throwing
need-
bodies at a problem.
right.
It's going to be a matter of what then?
Fighting with our brains.
Sam nods. We can't change the world by force all of the time. And when something comes against us, it's not always going to be a matter of brawn. We don't have as much as an entire state with just our democratic borough here. We're relatively small. The city itself is small in comparison to these places that fell.
We need information. We need information, and we need to get on getting that information fast. We can't just barrel in there but that doesn't mean there won't be fighting. It just means that we gotta up our odds the best way we can.
Okay, you two seem to be quite knowledgeable about warfare. Go right ahead.
Oh yes, I'm really all about the warfare.
Nearly
I'm
was
not
shaking
saying
his
that.
nails.
Obviously, I know that you're the one who, if there's going to be a big bloody battle, you're probably far more knowledgeable than I am about it. But a good general certainly wouldn't say no to advantages, would he?
A good general needs to be listened when he talks, and not keep cut off
Well,
about and assume that he's going to fight a war with brawn as he looks at Sam. And a good general knows about strategy is handled
General,
based on the
let's hear your
information
plan.
he has. I am not a general, firstly. And secondly, my plan is to read this thing. Also, continue what I was saying. There's a master of Wayfair standing in front of you, Governor. If our people is in danger, I can cast something on them where they will have a right to be teleported to a safe place. I am willing to give this to anybody. I have time, and they can just basically send me a text, and I can just be like, boom, you have the right to teleport wherever you want.
And if it's a temporary fix. I mean, if I would suggest the weak and the very young, the very old are probably individuals that you should focus on for that. But if we run, we're just delaying.
Well, I would say before the battle, before they come here, we should actually go to them. He's still looking at his toenails.
Misha kind of looks because she's wondering what's so great about his toenails.
And then he says, there needs to be a party of individuals who actually enters, cuts the head of a snake, then goes out. At least tries to make the army weaker, because if they have an army, they're good as their leader, because Tulane are just impossible to be controlled. They're chaotic. Let them fight among each other. Cause problems among the army. We know they're coming. We don't know where they are, but we can find it.
OOC.
Mm-hmm.
Did I see the kind of methods they were using to do this? Like, did they just swarm?
What she saw was it was like a descending cloud of dark chaos. So, like the cities were like mortals just kind of knocked out, and it was Cathane targeted. So there's no news on they're coming out of Virginia, even on mortal channels about this. But essentially, what Misha saw was, there was just like almost Helm's Deep level of overwhelming in comparison.
I
There
don't know what
wasn't
Helm's
anything.
Deep is, other than I know the word. I've heard it somewhere, but I don't know where.
It's from
The
Lord of the Rings. Yeah,
Gotcha. I've seen the first 2 movies, and then long story about the rest.
Yeah. So yeah,
Movie.
just like watching ants swarm a dead body. It's not that there's a lot of like organization going on. They're ants. They're scattering. They're tearing and ripping, and eventually, all that's left is bones or less.
They will come from the Trods, but we can allow them to be. There was 4 masters. I don't know if you're a master or not, but Hall is a master of winter. He can stasis these walls. Misha is a master of spring. She can make this place quite safe for a lot of people. Amber is master of summer. She can keep people fed with glamour.
Okay.
We can. The worst case scenario is we basically stuck here under a siege.
Disagree, but I hope
What
you're
is the
right.
worst case scenario for you?
I'm just
That
hoping we
we've-
don't have to use that plan.
I think the worst case scenario is that some other individual is looking at a folder like this about us.
Well, Sam, worst case scenario, if we die, then we won't be caring that much because we will be dead. So there's no point of thinking that possibility.
When did you become such a pessimist?
After talking to people recently,
Councilman, I suggest that you learn to rediscover hope.
I'm the one who's offering solutions.
What you're offering is using people as pawns so that we can find an opportunity in this war to shelter in place for what? As we watch all of our friends and family fall?
I'm sorry. Are you fucking kidding me?
Governor.
When did I
Councilman,
use? I don't give a fuck. When did I
May I
use to
please?
offer to say people as pawns? What are you talking about?
You're the one who said war is an opportunity.
Yes, war is an opportunity. You need to use your resources here, which is this damn place. I didn't say that you should use people. Get your facts straight before you use those words around me.
Sam, he's right. He didn't actually say that specifically.
Okay.
I
So
never,
if
ever would use
then who is the
words.
opportunity going to come on the backs of councilmen?
What did she say? What
If
did he
not
say?
the people, who does the opportunity come on the backs of, if not people? Who finds an opportunity? Who is the opportunity taken from in war?
The other nobles who doesn't have strongholds, they will come to us. They may or they may not, but you can offer them safety.
Why is that an opportunity?
Because they will see us as someone who can protect them as well. This war is bad, yeah. But we need to think about the war and about the after of the war.
Okay, I'll tell you what here. Listen, this is what I'm thinking. Both of you. What you're suggesting about a place to fall back is not a bad idea. In fact, we should do that. But let's not focus on that right now. Let's think, what can we do to either prevent it or at least soften it? Okay, let's focus on that for now.
That's what I say. I would say that we should make this stronghold as like steady as possible, you know, to for any siege. But at the same time, we should think strategically about making our enemy weak, which is my other offer of sending people to assassinate, finding those leaders, offing them, and then simply having chaos ensue among the army. These are
We need to
again,
find out who's doing this. Who is, yeah, maybe there's just a bunch of people, like swarming. Like that's pretty much what I saw. Was just this, I don't know what you'd call it. Yeah, like what, a swarm? I got no better words.
even a
A
swarm has a
swarm,
leader,
right.
or
Even
they would
if
attack
it's
each
someone,
other.
that's kind of where I'm at. We need to figure out who they are, how they got there, and what their weakness is.
Yeah, we need to capture one of their people. Questions, learn, then make a plan. We can't just remain defensive and say we will just get through this. That should not be the case for us.
Also, we know they're based in the Dreaming, or at least that's where they're attacking from. So
Mhm.
that splits our search down a little bit. At least gives us a focus to start with.
I think they probably would have sent some, spies as well.
Yes, but you know what? Whatever it was that was making her not able to talk about anything, it wasn't normal. I mean, I'm sure it was magic, but it wasn't normal looking.
Mm-hmm.
It did. She said she didn't think it was sovereign.
I think, Sam, that you also need to put someone in charge who will lead, Brooklyn's armies, Brooklyn's guard, in case of emergency.
I'll look at my options.
That makes sense, having a backup.
But that person needs to be like Caesar as well.
Which one? The one who liked to, swim and have little boys come at him?
No, what I'm talking about is basically, in times of war, I don't think there needs to be a lot of like questions on decision making. But we will see if it comes to that.
Yeah, let's try to rip this thing apart from the inside first if we can. So why don't we get Hall to see if he can they may not notice birds as they sort of fly around out there.
As you look at the birds that are flying around, there's an odd thing that look, just the question pops to, are there more birds than usual? Has Hall's flock grown?
Well, if that is the case, she's not too worried about it. And just her freehold too, so she's actually fine with that as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's a bunch of extra hairs floating around this place too, just because of what it's called and where it came from.
I mean,
but they're not our pets. They're just there.
It's not as sizable, like the hairs from like the name and like Misha's like sort of affection for her friend, like they're there, but no, like the number of crows and other corvid that report to Hall, they are like they like blacken out part of the sky when they like lift up to do that like flight thing, that the murders of these birds do.
Yeah, Misha's gonna look up at the closest one and be like, why don't you tell Hall that we need him as soon as he can get here?
I don't know if the bird's going to respond or anything, but that is what she tells the bird. And
I don't. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what Misha's like relationship with these birds is, but like that'll have to be up to Marco.
absolutely, he can
His
just
availability.
It's a absolutely. Oh, I know that. I know if he can't be here now, he can't be here now.
Yeah.
But either way, so she's like, I think that would be a good place to start because they can be very quiet, and if we can find any, shall we call it what, glitches in the dreaming, anything that's not as it used to be, that would be where we need to start.
I will go and check the dreaming.
We also need to dig through these papers and see if there's any clues
And
that
God, I
might give us
fucking
any
miss
hint of anything.
Kelgar.
Do you think you could find him and he might be willing to help you for this?
Not anymore. I'm too domesticated for Kelgar.
What would be? No, he would just be helping. He wouldn't be your friend like that. It would just give you some time to hang out.
That's not how Kelgar works.
No.
Well, either way, make sure that someone knows when you're looking.
I'm going now.
So that,
This time
I'm just saying,
is now.
and make sure you tell us where you're going.
I think that you
Because-
rushing in to go find something that has torn apart states without preparation or backup is ill-advised.
I can teleport here.
Yes.
So what? You're just going to randomly pick some place in the dreaming, hope that this enemy is there? You have no
No,
idea who they
I will
are. We have
read the
no idea
papers.
where they wait.
Governor, your attitude is starting to piss me off. I would highly
Your
recommend
bullheadedness is starting to piss me off, and I don't get
my
pissed off.
bullheadedness. I literally just said I will read the
I am your
papers.
governor,
then-
councilman. You have a responsibility to the people here not to go off and get killed. I understand that you want to go and handle things personally every time, but perhaps you should place faith in the people you have oaths with. You have an entire motley and work with them before you go forward and get yourself killed.
William starts to take a deep breath.
William. Misha will she's just going to kind of touch his arm a little bit. She's not going to she's going to kind of just pat his arm and then pull her hand back.
Governor,
Look,
I do have faith in people and my friends and my governor. That's why I actually didn't say anything when he was not doing anything. Or my friends were busy. Or when I was busy, they didn't say anything. Now, I respect your attempts to keep me, but I can take care of myself.
yes, you can. We know that.
And I can, when you say you go without preparation, would you like me to give you a list of arts that I have active on me right now?
Are they more than an entire state's worth of caffeine?
I can disappear in a blink.
And I'm certain that absolutely nobody that was amongst the nobility there was capable of the same.
I'm not saying I will go fight them. I will scout. The scouting is a risky thing that everyone does.
It would be better if you didn't do it by yourself, though.
The scouting is something that we usually done in parties, but, I don't have any other scouts who can disappear in a blink.
No, but you have at least one that is very good at being quiet.
Let's read the papers, then decide. And if governor says, I'm ordering you to stay here, then I will have to stay here.
I don't think, and she kind of looks to Sam and she'll just be like, I don't think that's what the governor's going for here.
No,
And
the governor
guys, when
goes
did we become
for...
so super formal? Can we just calm down a little bit? We're all mad. We all got stuff that we gotta figure out. Yes, I get it. But screaming at each other is not really helping.
I am not the one who's yelling.
You were yelling, and so were they. Both of you were.
council business is pissing me off. There are the papers
I
every
understand
weekend.
that. Yes, you and I will read with you. We will figure this out. And as soon as we can nab Hall from whatever the hell he's doing right now, which I'm sure it's important, we can send out his version of Scouts, which
Actually,
is
wait.
rather quite good.
They're coming for Taranar.
It's in New York. Why would they not be? That's why I assume we're a target. This state is a target.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to cut us off from everybody else. You didn't realize that till just now? They're just trying to make a wide circle around us so they can take us because we have Terranar and the king. The High King, I should say.
Yeah, what he does. I hope he knows what he does.
I doubt that. Doesn't change
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
Thing is, if he falls, we fall. That's the problem here.
Hmm.
So yes. Are we okay with this plan then? You and I are going to read through these things. We're going to figure this out, and I will give you guys every last detail of what I found in her head.
You need others, and also I think Leon needs to know things as well to make things, he air quotes, proper.
Well, I will happily go to him and talk to him myself. That's fine. He'll still see me. This is important.
Sam nods and hands over the folder.
I think we could. Misha will take it. Like set it on a table that's nearby. If you come with any more information, will you let us know?
Of course.
Of course, same back to you.
By the way, Governor,
Yes.
after the war, I will resign.
If there's something to resign from after the war, we'll talk then.
And by the way, when you like, I don't know if you know about this, but being this hopeless doesn't help anybody.
I'm not trying to be hopeless, Councilman.
Hopeless.
I'm trying to make sure that we aren't sending people to die pointlessly who we need in our when things do come for us.
No. I'm saying, like, if you say, like, when you talk and say, if there is a county to remain, those type of things doesn't help anybody. I say
think
this
it's
as like
being realistic.
You talking about resigning helps so many people.
It does help me. I will resign after the war.
Okay, fine. You will resign after the war. We will sort out the war now. Okay?
Yeah.
And Misha's she's gonna look at Sam and be like, may I walk you out?
Yeah. Thanks, Misha. And Sam follows Misha out.
Yeah, and as they're walking, when they get away from William, she's just gonna be like, he's always been like this. I'm not excusing him, but he's a doer.
I understand. And he's capable of doing a lot, which means that what we need is for him to be around if things do go south. If we end up losing the Williams because they're out getting themselves killed by themselves, then we're not going to have him there as the fortification that we need. I have hope that we can stand and show something of this method of government, of the people having a say in how their lives are governed. But if all we are is a smudge on the page of history because we were snuffed out before anything could be learned, then
I get it. You're looking at a bigger picture.
it is a big picture. I understand he has his focus, but it's not a one person job. He can't go by himself.
Well, I can't control him, as I'm sure you see. But I think he can be talked around sometimes. We're just going to have to play this the best we can. And we're going to have to leave that situation as a... I mean, we've gotten him to agree for now. Hopefully he'll calm down some and won't just be like going out and doing the stupid. Honestly, if anyone was going to be going out scouting by themselves, I'm probably the better option. I can hide.
Isn't... I don't want to make assumptions about Hall, but a crow can...
Yes, he can. He also could hide. He could literally go out with his birds.
I think that there's more to be learned.
I do too. Which is why we're going to do this the smart way, even if I'm not smart. Gonna do it the smart way. We need information. That is the first thing. We need to know if they're getting closer and maybe what their future plans are. Because I don't think we're their immediate target. I think we're their long-term target.
I don't know if I hope you're right or not. Because if we're their long-term target, that's a lot more people.
It is, but it also gives us more time. And if we can figure out who's next, we might be able to try to find some way to uphold them so that they won't be coming at us. At least throw them off.
Look what I added.
Could you do me a favor, Misha?
Let me see.
Depends on the favor.
You remember when the council, the cauldron houses within the various places linked their freeholds?
Yes.
I want to find out why they did it and what sort of contingency plan they have.
Because if one of them is taken, then they can jump to everybody else.
Yes. We either stand together or fall together at this point.
Who was the one who instigated that? Oh, see, I can't remember.
I think it was Charles who instigated it.
Oh God. Well, she really doesn't trust it then. Well, so who was the first people to agree to it? Was it Manhattan?
It was the cauldron houses. I don't remember out of the freeholds who was the first ones to agree to it. I know
Cauldron
he
houses
was.
then.
Yeah.
So she needs to try to talk to the house then, basically.
Mm-hmm. Jesus Christ, my kids.
They're kids.
I tell them
okay.
I tell them to be quiet so they leave the house in the loudest method possible.
Well, at least it's warmer where you're at than it is here. I'm pretty sure I can say that's probably true.
Mm-hmm.
She'll nod. She's like, I'm sure they would love to meet me. Any friend of Charles is a friend of theirs, right? And she tries to mimic that horrible Charles Diamond mouth smile. It's really terrifying and awful.
Yeah, there's that sort of like shiver from Sam.
Yeah, she kind of figured.
Sorry, my
She's just like, yeah, she just kind of looked over and she's like, I'm sorry, I don't have my Charles teeth in.
well, if you can, I know it started with them. I don't know who organized it, orchestrated it, or pulled the final trigger, but if there's some sort of plan in place, that might be a good place to start.
And maybe, yeah, if nothing else, they should be warned. Because if they're the ones who are capable of cutting the magic if necessary as a strategic move, if there's nothing else to keep, to give a little extra time to the other baronies, they
Maybe.
need to be prepared to do that.
I know that William was talking about opening other trods.
They do need trods here.
Maybe if we can trap them on the ones that they're traveling, and if we know that there are other trods we can open, then I mean, at least it wouldn't leave us isolated. Maybe it's just an idea, but I should get going. I need to go and reach out to my people and see if there's any more information I can find. And if you can go ahead and get me a copy of that picture, I'll go ahead and swap that information with them.
Yeah, I'll do it before I gotta go for a swim. I'm telling you, it's been a crazy day. But I will do that first.
Thank you. And whatever administrative duties are necessary, you don't have to play through. But if you guys have anything else to discuss amongst each other.
Well, she was just going to say one last thing to Sam, just a real quick.
Sure.
Look, if I would tell you to tell him that if Leon wants me to come, I'll come. But I feel certain he's going to want me to come, since I might be the only one who's seen anything of it.
I think if it comes down to whether or not he wants to see you at this point, it doesn't matter. Just make him see you.
Oh, he'll see me.
All
He
right.
loves me almost as much as Charles.
Give him hell, Misha.
Only if I can. And she's gonna head back in there, and actually she's gonna sit down at the same table with William, and she's gonna pull out the pad of paper and basically try to copy the drawing that she's done. Try to copy it a few times.
You don't have to roll for that, so you can just copy it.
Photocopy it, says William.
Well, she could, but she's not in the dreaming right now. We don't have a photocopier, so she's trying to copy her drawing for the moment.
I mean, you can.
It's fine.
William just shrugs and says, "Is Sam left?"
Yeah, they got a bunch of stuff to do, including check in on sources.
No, little prick. Pisses me off.
They're learning to stand up to you. You probably say the same thing about me. Said you probably say the same thing about me, since I stand up to you.
It's not about standing up. It's about assuming the worst about me. That's what pisses me off, and that's what you do as well.
That does suck. And, if I'm wrong on something, that's fine. Tell me. You and I can't deal with anything if we're not being honest with each other, right?
Misha. Carol, I think me and Christy needs to do a scene, because I think William and her will talk for a while. So we can end this one and continue making another one if you want.
It's up to you. But I mean, if you have nothing else you need from me as an ST, yeah.
Christy, you okay with that? We can make a scene like old times.
Is there any chance we could put it off till tomorrow, just because we've been in here for 4 hours?
I can't do it
Busy?
I mean,
My brain is just
be
I need a break.
I was gonna say I'm not gonna push any more plot until like next year. Like we've got the holidays coming up in a few days, and let me
I was
just
just
like yeah.
I was just gonna do a social. Like, you don't want
Yeah,
to do a
that's fine.
social scene?
I
You
just
can do a
need a
social
break
scene,
for.
okay.
I need a break. Like I have actually things I need to do with my. I was gonna do them today. I could try to put them off till tomorrow, but my 4-hour scenes are kind of kill your brain.
We can say that, like, then let's just talk here then. If that's okay with you.
So
Or
I
you
just
want to
don't know.
finish it.
I mean, I don't. It doesn't matter, I guess. We just need to. Just let's not be forever, if you know what I mean.
No, it's not going to be forever.
Okay.
William lights a cigarette. He doesn't look at the paper and he says, "You know, when people assume the worst about you, after some time you just accept that it's maybe who you are."
I haven't done that yet.
I think I'm
People always
starting to
assume
do
the
it
worst of me.
slowly.
Leon assumed all kinds of things about me, but the last time I met him, I
I
don't
don't care
care.
about what Leon assumes about me. I care about what people that I try to help assumes about me. I say something and then, "Oh, William, why you're so hopeless?" I just try to offer.
Guys, that was an argument. You guys were just butting heads,
I
and
told
you
it.
say things that don't always make sense. That's what happens when people argue.
Like when I say the worst case scenario, you're locked here, and he says it's not the worst case scenario. Nobody needs to fucking hear the worst case scenario is you're all dead. Like, nobody's dumb enough to not know that worst case scenario is dying. Like, I'm not trying to downplay
Okay.
what's coming. I just try to leave a level head because he is someone who is literally shaking from this shit.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with them being scared.
No, there's nothing wrong with someone being scared, Misha. It's just that I try to tell something and he says, like, "Oh, worst case scenario, if you're dead." Like, that doesn't help anybody. Especially, it's not going to help anybody when the people are scared when the army comes.
I don't think that was the point of what they were doing. I think the point of saying worst case is that they're dead is the fact that you had just brought up what you believed the worst case scenario to be, and they were saying, no, 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 it's far worse.
But
See, that's what I mean. You were just bouncing off of each other the wrong way. I mean, I might just be a girl who, like ran away from home and didn't really get educated a whole lot, but even I could see that. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that Sam was right in everything they did, but I don't think you were right in everything you did either. That said, you guys are both trying to keep Brooklyn going, so you're going to have to bury some of that, and so are they.
it's fine. Brooklyn will be fine. We will deal with this like we dealt with other things. We will find a
This is
way.
bigger. This is way bigger than other things we've dealt with.
Yeah, that's why it will be better for us when we finish with this.
We need to keep our heads straight.
I mean, Misha, really, the worst case scenario, like he said, we're either dead or we're not dead. I accepted my fate when I yelled at Isidore that fuck him, this is no longer, a barony. I could have died that, but I didn't. I can still die. Map just can say, fuck you guys, fuck your democracy.
That would not be smart right now to create more chaos in a place that's going to get smacked in the face.
I think,
Mab will lose her kingdom.
accepting the possibility of death for me was just a thing for a long time.
I get it.
Especially after getting stabbed in the back.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember it very clearly. It was awful, okay? It was really, really bad. But the thing is here, and I get it that, you've figured you've come to accept death. A lot of people have. It's not like that's maybe ideal or whatever, but, like, it's a thing. I don't wanna die. Whether you accept that it's a possibility or not. If you don't want to die right now, then you gotta figure out what you can do to keep yourself alive.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. I don't want to die as well. I
And
want
you
to.
and
I don't
I,
know.
as council people, if once they know that we're some of the leaders, we're targets. Because the first thing they're gonna wanna do is take away hope from everybody else.
Yep.
So, and it's yeah, okay, I can make it sound all fancy and perfect. Like, I just want to save Brooklyn, but I want to save my ass. And I'm not willing to like sell Brooklyn for that, but I want to save my ass. I want to save yours, and I want to save Inaba's, and I want to save Hall's. So if that means sucking up a little bit to Leon, I don't expect you to do that, but I can do it. I don't care. He doesn't have to believe a word I say as long as I say the right words.
I think you should not suck up to him in any way, shape, or form.
It's not worth dying over. If I feel like that is the choice between death or sucking up to Leon, I'm probably going to suck up to him. Because I can always fix that later.
Some things you can't fix, but okay.
Well, if it's an oath, obviously not.
And we'll search the papers, but
Any clues? If a hint what of a kith, maybe? What direction they came in? Literally anything. Even if we could find an old camp. That might be helpful. We need any information we can get.
we can go back to Virginia.
We could. I would suggest we not do that right this second. I think maybe we should see if Sadie can gather up a few more of the survivors, and that will give me permission to see their points of view on the subject.
Yep, that's another thing we should do. I am gonna rest. And actually
Okay.
hope I will hope bad things. He shakes his
Why
head.
would you hope bad things?
Not to us,
The
to others.
Oh. Well, I can think of one or two that I can add to your list of wishing bad things for. Mostly just one.
Who?
Is it okay if I add that one to your list?
Who is the one that you want bad things to happen?
Oh, just a family member.
Actually, I'm not gonna sleep. I'm gonna read this and then sleep. So
Just trust me on this one. They deserve it. Go ahead and sleep. I have to finish this up before I do anything else. I'm going to make at least 3 copies, one of which I will deliver to Leon in person. And I will actually write Sam and tell them that. Because it's one way that I can more easily be sure that I can get in a timely fashion. And then I will, I don't know, probably try to read some of these papers until, and she kind of casts this longing glance towards, the water, because they're not near the water now, but she knows exactly the direction of it. She can feel the pull of the water. And she's just
I
looking that way, and she's like, I will probably disappear for a while.
hello.
Hi.
I disappeared after you said, just go to sleep. William said, I will check the papers, then go to sleep.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, she was just like, I'm just going to make a couple copies of this, and I'm going to actually take one and use it as a way to get into Leon in a very prompt fashion.
Misha,
I know he'll see me.
that person who captured and attacked Sadie,
Hmm.
he can't be a Talain.
Could be.
It can be create problems between us and them.
We already have problems with the lane. They just haven't started yet.
No. Them as in Manhattan. That Baroness is dumb enough to just kidnap someone and then
Then let's open that kettle of fish. I love fish.
no, what I'm trying to say is it may be Talain who's doing this, who's trying to put grudge between us and Manhattan. I don't think that Baroness is dumb enough to just, put someone in a coffin and leave her there.
It's not like you're going to make money that way. It could be Ethylene who's trying to Ethylene spy.
Yeah. That's
To
why we need to
recognize her,
find him
maybe.
immediately. That's why we need to find him immediately.
Could also be a human that's part of someone's entourage.
Yeah.
Hard to say, but that's why if there's no reason why I can't use my personal delivery of the picture as an easy way to get into Leon.
Tell Leon about this idea as well, okay?
And she'll she'll salute him, where you put your hand up to your temple and like she's in the army.
What are you doing?
You're the general.
No, I'm not. I will refuse the honor.
Well, you can be my general.
No, I'm not your general as well.
You don't get to choose that. I get to choose who my general is. Thank you.
Do what you want. I will read these papers, so see you later, okay?
Aye, Captain. As she salutes once more, and she'll go back to trying to finish up her drawings,
Mm-hmm.
and we can kind of end there probably.
Well, let me just give like the wrap up text. Once Misha does all that, whenever she makes it back to her office, there's this packet of letters, and in the letters, there's notes from various people about like why they decided to move to Brooklyn. This is from the like 200 like people who have come, and there's about maybe 15 letters in Misha's packet. Give or take a few, but most of them say things along the lines of like, I came here because I believe that this is the best place for somebody like me to actually even have an opportunity. I came here because I believe that dreams of leadership change over time, and we should as well. I came here because I hope that I can survive. That sort of thing. And like variations of that as well. And it's tied up in with those are tied up with like a golden thread. There's another letter, and it has like Mariposa's seal on it. And if she opens it, it's a letter from Mariposa saying that she's been in contact with the people who have been maintaining that underwater freehold that Misha had helped establish.
Yes. And
that they've reached out to her to make contact with Misha about that she needs an ambassador, that they would like to work with Misha as an ambassador, as somebody who primarily stays on land, but also has involvement in politics, and is one of these like water type, because they've had contact from I want to say Mer is like the not Filane version.
Yay! You just made my day. I love the merfolk.
But they want to establish like communications with those individuals, and like
So
that
basically,
with note,
merfolk have contacted them, so they want to have someone that can handle it, I guess.
basically, yeah, somebody who's water and also tied to the politics of the city. You know, within the county, Misha is the only water person in
Water type.
politics. Yeah.
I'm a Pokemon. I'm a Spheal.
But anyways, so yeah, she's basically, since Misha's got this tie into politics and is also, you know, of water type affinity, she would be the ideal person for this sort of ambassador role. And so, you know, it's basically like, when you have the time, please come speak with me. You know, we like it's always good to have more allies. So
Yeah.
yeah. So that's what is there from Mariposa about that freehold that Misha helped establish. And you said William's going to sleep. How much?
No, he will read the papers.
Oh, he's reading. Okay, so the papers. Giving the quick rundown of those. There are multiple cries for help. Trying to piece together like how like these things go down. Like the cries for help start with like that it becomes incredibly difficult for any of the Cathane to use their arts. And then it starts talking about how they start feeling sort of like this oppressive energy, and that the soothsayers start going mad. And then it says they come through the trods, and like the last messages are very short, and it's like we must remember that they also have the old gods. And with that, I close this scene with a good evening, and I hope you have enjoyed playing and watching, and I will see you next time.